Spoilers of the Damned.
Hello and welcome to Spoilers of the Damned, episode number 31. Today, we are going to be talking about What Remains of Edith Finch. That was my choice.
Yes. You're sorry.
I apologize.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much the case that all three of us are not best pleased with how the game turned out. And we'll get into that, I'm sure, for several hours following a brief discussion of what we've been up to this week. So, guys, how have you been?
God.
Pretty damn good.
Good.
Really good.
Right, good.
Yes, just to give a little bit of kind of background detail here to the listeners. We recently, as in, well, I did a few days ago, but I've recently just told the guys, literally 10 minutes ago, that there is a Sean Connery subreddit called Shubreddit. I'll put the link in the description below. It's another case of a joke becoming
transcending
a forum with close to 40,000 people are subscribed.
Yeah, it's like a joke that becomes a lifestyle, you know? Like, you could see people from the subreddit, like, unironically, wearing t-shirts about Sean Connery. Like, out in the wild. Like, oh, I belong to this subreddit, and the more people that belong to that subreddit, the more, like, validity it gets. So then it becomes, like a powerful force for good, I hope. Later.
It makes me feel special.
It's a special subreddit.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's a gift to you, listener.
Yeah.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Some brain bleach when you think all is not well in the world. You can go to Shubreddit and get yourself corrected. Something is good out there.
It's so good.
There is what the TV show The Strain is now completed. I've talked about it on the podcast before. And there's a character in that show / book called Zach, who's sort of slightly pre-adolescent to adolescent boy. I guess he's somewhere around like 10 in the show or the book or something. I think he's a bit older in the show than the book. Anyway, this character repeatedly and consistently makes really shit decisions, which I guess is kind of in character for a kid, but when you're watching a TV show, you just go, I want to punch a face.
Oh, well,
so there's a subreddit called FuckZack, so literally r/FuckZack, where people just post stuff, and like mostly the posts on there tend to be along the lines of, you know what, I think we should give Zach a chance. So you click on the topic title and it goes, no, fuck Zach. Like, that's the post underneath once you've clicked on the title. Incidentally, I think there's one for, I don't know if it's still active, but The Walking Dead, Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 2. There's a character who I think is kind of like Russian or Eastern European, and you kind of, I think you get the choice whether to kill him or not.
Okay.
But he tries to shoot you, and I think I'm forgetting now what he does, but I think his name's Arvo or something like that. So there's also a r/FuckArvo. Let me see if I can remember. I think it's Arvo. Yes, it is Arvo.
Wonderful.
That, my friends, is what we call on-point recollection.
Nice.
Yes, so...
Yeah. I haven't gone through Walking Dead Season 2 at all. Like, I got through the beginning of it, and it was just really crushingly, like, depressing. And I was like, you know what? I don't have to go through this. I'm not going to.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because... well, I'll save it for later on, but there's a reason why you bringing up Season 1 of The Walking Dead, Telltale's The Walking Dead, is quite apt when it comes to talking about What Remains of Edith Finch, but I'll save it for then.
Sure.
But yeah, I totally understand the kind of like the crushing, depressive nature of those games.
Well, yeah,
and
it's grief porn, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially if you'd managed to soldier through to the start of Season 2. The first episode is horrendous. It gets better from there a little bit. But to summarize, Clementine is with people. Those people get killed and or abducted.
Oh, cool.
Clementine is on her own. She finds a dog. She feeds the dog, and then the dog tries to bite her. She runs away. Then
What?
Clementine meets some people, and they say, oh, you've been bitten. She goes, yeah, by a dog. And they go, no, you're going to be a zombie. We're going to tie you in a shed. So they tie her in a shed.
Why would they tie her
Then
up?
she's got to escape and, like, sew up her own wounds with, like, a needle. And you literally got to go up, down while she's going, ah! And then a zombie comes in. And it's like, oh, my God.
Why would they... That doesn't... What? You've been bitten, so we're going to tie you up so you can change, and you'll be in the shed, and you got potentially get loose and bite. Wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, does it?
Right.
Oh, I'm a Walking
if I
Dead character.
remember rightly, I think you kind of creep under the floorboards and maybe get into the house, and they're like, "Who the hell are you? Why are you here?" And that's why they tie you up. I can't remember for sure.
You're bitten, bitch. We're going to tie you up. Have some fun with a zombie.
But yeah, I don't know. I do love those games, actually, those Walking Dead ones. But I can totally understand if that's a barrier to entry for some, because I totally understand.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I mean, with that scenario you're talking about right now, it would have made more sense for anyone to see a bitten person to just shoot the person that was bitten. Even if you would think, maybe they're a good person, it doesn't matter, they're going to turn into a zombie. So tying them up only enhances the drama for the player, therefore the viewer, and makes it tense, which is, I guess, good, like, game design, but it's not really a game, since Walking Dead is about clicking here and clicking there, watching a cutscene, clicking here, clicking there, watching a cutscene, all the way till you get to the end. And
I will agree with you,
of course you will,
but with an asterisk that says still got shit ton more gameplay than Edith Finch.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, sure. We both agree on that. my main problem with like the beginning of season 2 was that the ending of season 1 ended on a high note, like a slight hopeful note, and then it just smashes all of that, like in the first 5 minutes of season 2, which is why I was like, I thought I fought through all this. Like, at this point, I want to get to the point where humanity starts to, like, work together and do something, and then, like, bad things happen, sure, but not, like, crushingly depressing, horrible bad things. More like, oh no, the zombies came in, but we had to fight them off. We lost so-and-so. That was terrible. Not, this person has just, like, tied this other person into a shed, and they're just, like, gonna cut them into pieces, and we're gonna eat that person to death, basically, or something, something horrible. I'm just making things up. I'm not actually trying to spoil the game for anybody. So I'm just making things up where it's like, this is, like, horrible to the nth degree and on purpose. Where I don't think people would actually do that. I mean, there are definitely people in the world who are terrible, but I don't think that they outweigh the morally good majority of people. Or maybe I'm just naive. I don't know, but that's why I stopped with Walking Dead. I was like, no, not everyone's a fucking mass murdering, killing bastard. I'm sorry.
Nope.
It's one of those things where I don't think as many people would watch or engage if it was a continuing story of survival amongst people who are, like, sensible. It's like, it's 45-minute episode. The guy walks in and goes, I dug a trench today so that our latrine system works perfectly. Good, great job, man. Have an apple.
Well, here's where you're wrong. Here's where you're slightly wrong, because there are games like SimCity, there are games like, farming simulators, there are games, I'm saying, like, games that have no actual, like, moral conflicts that are still popularly well played. True. So if you put that in a zombie setting, I'm sure there'd be enough people out there who'd actually want to play it, instead of like heart-wrenching, like, despair and getting crushed throughout the entire story when, like, a little girl gets stepped on by a zombie and now she is dead or something. Isn't that sad? We couldn't get to her in time. I mean, it was a really fat zombie because the zombie ate, like, 3 people, and he had, like, 3 people's worth of food in its body, and that's why it's, like, so overwhelmingly fat, and it stomped on some poor little girl, and now we're all very sad. I don't like Telltale's Walking Dead.
That's fair enough. I mean, yeah, it's kind of annoying because, like you said, there's no kind of feeling of it was worth it. At the end of the day, most of the progress that you make in, like, oh, we're trying to build up our base, or oh, we're trying to deal with people, etc., it always inevitably kind of goes wrong. The only moments are, like, moments where, say, in season 3, because Clementine is quite grown up in season 3, doesn't quite work kind of timeline wise. It's kind of fudged a bit.
10 years later.
It feels like 10 years later, but it's more like, I don't know, 2 or 3. Anyway, she says stuff like, someone goes like, oh, I love your hair, and she goes, yeah, I keep it short. Someone told me once that I should keep it short, and like, everyone at home's going, oh my god, Lee told her that, I told her that.
Yeah.
But those moments are kind of, like, few and far between. And more often than not, it's kind of people, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I think we should do this. Things ain't the way they used to be.
Yeah.
Carl. Everyone's name is Carl. That's actually a form of punctuation in the zombie future. Everyone just says Carl at the end of their words to insinuate they're done.
Well, like the Moogles in Final Fantasy that say Kupo.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Carl.
Final Fantasy, what? That's basically what I've been getting into lately. I've been playing Final Fantasy Dissidia. I beat Final Fantasy 13, which is its own special kind of horror. And I played through Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2 over the last. I've just gone Final Fantasy crazy. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I think it's pretty right. I enjoy the shit out of myself right now, so it's great. And 10-2 was surprisingly good. I really enjoyed like a lot of the time I spent in there because a lot of the time you could do things that are optional. So if you don't want to do it, it's just completely fine to not do it, and then just keep playing the game. So like if there's something you just don't want to do, you don't have to do it. But the story-wise, it's not like a deep story, but it does actually work pretty good with the concepts. The art concepts. I don't want to be like art fag. I mean, but like artistically speaking, thematically speaking, like the themes of Final Fantasy X's sacrifice. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because I think, Tom, didn't you say you ordered that game recently?
Yeah, it's arrived, and I'm hoping to try and play it at some point.
So I'm not going to.
But I'm also aware it's like a 10-year plus old game, so it's like I know it's like there are probably spoilers, and it's probably not fair to ask people to not spoil it.
Right, you have no right to ask, but I will respect you and still not tell you. How about that?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm pretty sure I remember something about Tidus dying.
Oh no!
Because I remember something about like 10-2 is like maybe trying to get Tidus back,
right,
or something like that.
It's Yuna chases after her girlfriend. Boyfriend. Fuck, I screwed up genders. I also tried to learn German recently, so genders of nouns has like made everything fucked up in my brain. His girlfriend. Her boyfriend. Oops. That's its own special kind of horror too. Like learning another language where it's like all the nouns have specific genders. Where it's like, wait, so why is the pencil a man? I don't get it.
Yeah, we're going to France in the summer, and I've started trying to pick up a little bit of French.
Oh, boy.
And there's some of it from school stuck in my head, but not as much as I would like, and definitely not enough for functioning sentences. Yeah. So I can say stuff like, "Oh, où est la bibliothèque?" And that kind of stuff that no one in real life uses.
Buble.
You're just gonna get laughed at. They're gonna just cart you around in France and be like, "Hey, look at this guy trying to speak French.
Well,
give us a shot, Tom."
You silly English, you big dog.
I would imagine it just looked like I got Tourette's because I'd be shouting out the only French words that I know. So I'd be going like deuxième étage, which means second floor, and then it'd be like limonade, which means lemonade, and it's just like random shit.
Don't forget omelette du fromage.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Omelette du
fromage. I'm sure they love that over there.
Like, shut the... I'll fucking kill you.
Ever since that Dexter's Laboratory episode, everyone goes to France and tries to get a cheese omelette.
Omelette du fromage?
They walk in and say omelette du fromage, and they're like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off, get out.
You get nothing. You get nothing. I'm not even going to try to attempt a French accent. I'm just going to be like, no, you get nothing.
It just sound very, very, very American, very quick. Get out!
Oh, man. But yeah, like, since you have to tie genders to all the nouns, it feels like every noun is, like, a random grab bag of possible gender. So I just sort of started, even in my English, it's like his and her starts to blend into one, like omni-use, like gray matter kind of thing. It's hard. I don't understand why a language would develop that way. Because like,
or who gets to call the shots? Like,
yeah,
oh, the fireplace is a man, but the
window is
like
a woman.
This glass of drink is a woman. Yeah.
Like, I just don't get it because like you have to know it too. It can't just be like, I'm a tourist, so everything is das. You have to be like, you have to know it because when you try to form a sentence in German, you're basically forming building blocks. And I'm an amateur, so if anyone hears this and knows that I'm like slightly wrong, go ahead and correct me. But like the basic idea is like the noun, the action, the effect. But you can have the effect, the noun, the action. You can use building block mentality to just sort the sentences, and it always makes sense so long as you tie the right gender and the right connotation, I guess. That's not the right word, but it's like when you have D or den or dem, you can tell which part of the sentence that actually is. And for an example, the dog found the man, okay? So you have die Hund, it might be D, I might be wrong on that one. Die Hund, no, it's der Hund, der Mann, gefundet, right?
Gefundet is found.
Yes, but you can have gefundet der Hund, der Mann, because you can, like, with the der part, and I'm using that wrong, like, but it's like der should be den. I'm not sure.
That's kind of like a Herr Yoda way of saying things.
Yes, yes, but it still makes sense to Germans, and in fact, like the song 99 Luftballons by Nena, I think her name is.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It takes freedom and creativity with that mentality when making the lyrics for that song to make the song sound more sing-songy. So, like, if you wanted to learn German by, like, listening to music, you're actually doing yourself a disservice because you don't really know how people talk. You're just learning how people sing songs in German. And apparently that's why German poetry is really good, because you have so much freedom with how you sort the words and place them in certain areas and stuff. Unlike English, where everything's like, you put it in order, or you are an idiot.
Yeah.
You know, but like,
I'm not dumb, I'm just artistic.
Right.
Yeah, that was artistic.
Yeah, I heard you. The other thing about that is, like, I had like a brilliant idea. I'm using Duolingo to learn my German, but I also have to realize I have to go to YouTube to get my grammar, because Duolingo doesn't cover grammar at all. It just sort of gives you a bunch of examples. But the thing is, I was like, what if instead of learning German as an English speaker, using the English course to learn German, I use the German course to learn English? I already know English, so, like, they'll be speaking to me as if I'm a German speaker, and that way I'll have a better saturation of like German, and not be like, the cat gave the woman a dress. It's like, no one would ever say that. That's not even a real sentence. So I don't ever want to learn German that way. And it's kind of effective, except I just got bored of it and I stopped trying. But fuck, I lost my point.
Let me roll out my secondary school / high school knowledge of German.
Do it.
Do it.
I think I can say, I wish I had a small female dog. I think that's what I
Well, you
can
did
say.
just say that.
Well, yes, but for the purposes of everyone else, I was explaining in English before I decided to say it in German. So,
Right.
Ich hätte gern eine kleine Hund.
Kleiner Hund.
Yeah. Eine kleine Hund is a small dog, but...
And I'm pretty sure ich hätte gern means I wish I had, or something
Probably.
like
I don't know the word wish.
that.
But, I mean, that sounds
Ich
right.
gefunden einen kleinen Hund.
I found a small dog. But you said a small female dog, right? Is that what you were trying?
Yeah,
because...
Well, I think that's the eine, isn't it?
You know? Maybe.
Who knows?
Oh, that's what it was. Thank you. Now that you brought it up, now I understand I remember what I was trying to say. When I learned, when I'm learning English as a German speaker, there is a lot fewer lessons from German to English as there are from English to German. And I completely blame that on the fact that you have to, like, triplicate everything you learn in German because of all the different genders, the 3 genders, die, der, and das.
Yeah.
And then again, all the different ways of spinning die, der, das, den, dem, and so on and so forth to get your sentences correct. But if you take German and you filter it into English, it's like the, okay? Just stop with the gender nonsense. You just have the. So there's, like, I scrolled down to get through all the lessons, and it's like I stopped way early. I was like, wait, is that it? Okay, it's only like 1 or 2 screens of things to learn from German to English. Either it's an incomplete course, which it is because they don't teach you grammar, but, like, still, it's, like, much easier to learn English from German.
Everyone says, they say, like, oh, English is so hard to learn.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess maybe, like, if you have no exposure to it whatsoever, but otherwise it seems like... Well, I guess some people just have language brains, don't they? They are literally, like, predisposed to
Language brain.
to be better at languages.
I am language brain.
I'm clearly not language brain.
Well, see, like,
Language brain.
I mean, it just makes a lot of sense for me to just put things in order. Like, the only thing that would be confusing as a person trying to learn English is the slang. because we end up saying a lot of things.
Yeah, and double meanings and idioms and that kind of thing.
Like, things are cool, and also that is cool. You should turn up the heat on that. You know, don't let your food get cool. It's like, yeah, but I like cool things, right? So I should.
It's cool, yo.
Yeah, but your food is cool. You need to. But nobody says your food is cool in here, in America. So I guess that doesn't really make any sense as an example. See the true horror of language.
It's terrifying.
Yeah,
it is terrifying.
Anyway.
Well, this week, I haven't really done much horror-wise. I've watched more than is medically advised episodes of Hell's Kitchen, which I'm currently obsessed with at the moment. There's something about just watching people like yell "fuck off" at each other that just makes me happy, and I feel like I'm kind of getting a bit more smarter about how restaurants work, and also, you know, a couple of like cooking things. Although it's really not very factual of a program. You don't sit down and go, "Oh, I learned how to cook something." You just sit down and watch people get yelled at.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I watched a Shamalamadingdong film called The Visit. I don't know if you guys have seen The Visit.
I know of it though.
Yeah. Well, my wife enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a little bit. I think it still suffers a lot of Shamalamadingdong's failures.
Yes.
Kind of there's an obvious. I say it's an obvious twist. I didn't get the twist. Okay, I knew that there was going to be a twist. I made predictions at the start of the movie, and none of those predictions actually became the twist, but there was a twist. So in that regard, it is quite predictive.
The twist is great.
But I enjoyed it, and I was reading about it actually, that he took his fee from, I can't remember which movie. One of the movies he was making, he took his fee as a producer and put it wholly into funding this movie. So this movie is self-funded and is much kind of smaller in scope and less kind of like Hollywoodish. Well, it's still Hollywoody, but you know what I mean? It feels a bit more stripped back, a bit more back to basics.
Yeah.
And I feel like it does benefit from that. There are some genuinely creepy moments. There are also lots of, booga booga, scared, jump cam. Ooh, the camera has been sat here viewing the room for ages, so something's going to pop up and go, boo.
Boo. Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, I'm so scared. It's so scary.
You know, just maybe you weren't expecting it to be a naked granny, which...
Now that is terrifying.
Yeah, you see in this movie quite a few times, actually. And it's good. It does a good job of being creepy. That basically the conceit of the film is that there are these two children, a kind of like a 15-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy, and basically they've never met their grandparents. They know that there was something that happened between them and their grandparents and their mother that meant that they, you know, were never talking to each other. You know, kind of alienated.
Yeah, strange.
Anyway,
strange.
So they get in touch, the grandparents, and because they want to meet their grandchildren. And so they arrange for the the kids to go and visit the grandparents, which,
Mum of the Year.
Yeah, seems very, very strange.
Yeah, you go, it's fine.
But if you can get past that kind of conceit, which is
terrible
this would
premise,
never happen,
if
you can get past that bit.
Yeah, police be like, I think we should have a word with you.
Well, the police turn up at the end, but not for the reasons that you would think.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, if you can get past that conceit, which is it would never happen. The one thing I will say is that the kids I like the actors who play the kids, and they're very likable. You know, in horror movies, you're often kind of watching the main characters and going, "You're stupid. Why are you going in there?"
Yes.
Or, yeah, there's none of that. It's almost as if you're kind of like you're on the kid's side and you're watching, and a lot of the things that they do make sense. Like basically the conceit is that the elder, the girl, is recording a documentary about the whole thing. She's like an amateur filmmaker.
Okay.
So that explains a lot of the found footageness of the thing, is that she was actually editing it together, and you see her on her laptop with like a video editor open doing that. So it feels, you know, kind of like clever and self-contained, and you know, it's a nice little package. I would recommend it because it's on Netflix, so I would recommend it for Netflix, definitely. It doesn't fix all the problems with like Shyamalan-ish film, you know, things, but I would say it's a step in the right direction. I don't know if he's done anything since then. He doesn't have a cameo in it, which is good. I felt like Yeah, and it's not that I'm sick of him. It's just that, like the twists, there are things that you expect a Shyamalan movie to do, and one of them is, he's going to turn up as a cameo because that's something he always does. So to break that felt like a step in the right direction, I think.
Well, he did another film last year with James McAvoy, and I think it's called Split, about split personalities.
Yes.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Shyamalan. But yeah, I'm glad that he's not in the movie because he can't act. And also, he always gives his character too much importance, and I hate that.
He's been like doctors and stuff, hasn't he? Like
it was in Lady in the Water. His character is a novelist, which a writer. That's it. That doesn't he like write a book that brings about world peace or something?
Sounds about right.
So he's very level-headed. He's very grounded as Shyamalan. Doesn't think very highly of himself at all. No.
Not at all. Like his movies are definitely going to bring peace to the world. He's just got to tell people that in a movie that he stars or features himself in. Like, hey guys, pay attention, peace to the world.
It's like whenever people they go, oh, he's not that bad. He made The Sixth Sense in Unbreakable. That's good. Yeah, but he also made Signs about aliens that are burnt by water.
That land on a planet that's like 90% water.
Yeah, and the atmosphere would melt them because if they went anywhere with high humidity, they'd probably die.
Yeah, looking through his IMDb page though, another thing he did that he should get credit for is he produced the TV show Wayward Pines, which is based on a book I think just called Pines. And that's a very interesting TV show. It has a brilliant premise and is red hot for the first 4 or 5 episodes, and then when you actually get the answers to the questions you're asking, it's kind of one of those ones that becomes not as good once you know how things work. But it was a 2-series show that I'm pretty sure isn't coming back now. It's been a couple of years since the second series, and there's been no news about it. But I would recommend Wayward Pines in this age of streaming where you can watch a season in a week or something. Maybe you might want to pick it up. It's kind of thriller / a little bit of horror / a little bit of I don't know, like mediocre TV. It's not bad. It's not bad. The main character is quite enigmatic. Let me find out who he is. I think he's like a famous actor. Let's have a look. See, let's do this live because this makes for great listening.
Yeah, do it.
Do it.
And you at home, you can join in as well.
Matt
you find
Dillon.
it first.
Matt Dillon.
Yes.
He played Ethan Burke, who was quite a good character.
Well, he likes to be referred to as Madillon. I don't know. I just made that up. I don't know.
M.A.Dillon.
Madillon.
I do know that.
Silent.
I do know that M. Night's next movie is called Glass, and it's a sequel to Unbreakable.
Yes.
And it has the character from Split.
I heard that the character from Split, also the Split takes place in the universe of Unbreakable. Yeah. So
I just sort of realized, and I'm sure that everyone's way ahead of me on this one, but do you think M. Night Shyamalan is going to be the only person? I'm going to be the only person to actually pronounce his name correctly on the podcast. Do you think he's trying to grab in for the Marvel Cinematic Universe money?
Yeah.
He's I've got my own superheroes.
Yeah,
sorta.
I think the thing is, Split made money, and now he's gone back to being, wait, I'm going to make more over the top shit. No, oh no.
I mean, Unbreakable worked because it wasn't tied to anything. It just sort of came out of nowhere. And it was a superhero movie, and it was so real and grounded that it was man, I mean, because with Bruce Willis's character being epic strong, almost I guess hard to break, unbreakable even. He just sort of that's kind of how I would have developed as a superhero if I was his age doing his job, and then I just sort of realized that I could lift more than I'm supposed to. What the hell is that about? And maybe I will wear a poncho and try to be a superhero. It's not like I can fly. I still need to take a cab everywhere I gotta go. To the fight scene, please. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm like Luke Cage. Am I bulletproof? I'm still awesome.
Can I die?
Yeah. I'd start testing my limits after a while. I'd quit my job for sure.
Here's the thing: is not everything has to be in a cinematic universe. Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't. Like, just stop. Stop it.
What if he had the rights to put the Unbreakable characters in the RoboCop cinematic universe? Those two things don't even go together. But it's just like,
do it
why
anyway.
not? Yeah. We gotta make that money.
Are you talking old version or reboot?
Yes.
Yes.
Both. Oh, different dimensions, yo. It's because of the
That's right.
Tesseract. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be
Don't
a
you guys?
crossover.
I saw a trailer for a movie yesterday. There's
cool.
a film called Gnomeo and Juliet, which is a children's CGI movie based around garden gnomes.
Oh, they're making a sequel. Yay.
Yes, they're making a sequel. It's called Sherlock Gnomes, and it stars Sherlock Holmes as a gnome.
Obviously, what else would he be? I mean, it makes
with the
perfect
characters
sense.
from Gnomeo and Juliet.
And he's voiced
I
by
had to
Johnny
sit
Depp.
through 2.5 minutes of this trailer, and it was not worth it.
Oh god.
So yeah, you'll find that like if they can cram something in, especially if it's kind of sort of public domain like Sherlock Holmes, hell the fuck yes, it's going in there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not making a lot of money.
Yeah. That's a real shame.
That is not a surprise.
It's not making a lot at all. Oh, it's fucking Johnny Depp as Sherlock. Of course, we need someone to do a funny Sherlock Holmes. Get me Johnny Depp.
Yep.
So he can just do the same wacky.
Yeah.
He does more
performance
kind
he's
of like
done for the past
Victorian
20
English
years.
voices than actual English people.
He's going to start talking like this. And you're like, oh, he's funny and wacky because he's Johnny Depp.
Yeah, well, having said that, that's still better than James Corden's performance in the film Peter Rabbit, which I had the joy of seeing yesterday.
Well, I think a colonoscopy is probably more enjoyable than James Corden.
Yes, and until Cineworld offer colonoscopies on my membership.
Yeah, I mean, if they went, colonoscopy or James Corden film, they've had a colonoscopy, it'd be an experience.
I mean, that would be really valuable when you hit your 40s, though.
Yeah, exactly. So, whereas watching James Corden or listening to his voice just isn't. You don't get anything from it except rage and wanting to break something.
I started going for the films, but I stayed going for the colonoscopy.
I think it's something everyone should experience.
I felt like I'd seen enough of their shit. I needed to see my own.
Oh god, Ozzy Osbourne's in it.
Is he really?
Yeah. So it's Michael
I bet
Caine
he
and Maggie
either-
Smith.
I bet he either bites the head off a bat or says Sharon. That'll be one of the two things that they put him in that movie for. Is he public domain yet?
By himself.
He might as well be.
Yeah.
He plays Fawn, a garden deer.
Of course he does.
They're just like, come on, Ozzy, just talking to the microphone. What the fuck is going on? Well, we'll cut out the fucks, but we'll just keep it. Thank you very much, Ozzy. What the fuck? Have some drugs.
On
Go
a
on.
side note, something I noticed yesterday, and I started to annoy my wife with it. So we were sat watching. We were about to watch Peter Rabbit. Incidentally, Peter Rabbit, 6 out of 10. Really, really kind of like, it's a kid's movie, and I wouldn't put a kid in front of it because it's so mean. Like the whole,
Really?
Yeah, it's so mean spirited, and I'm not attached. I was saying to Chris before the podcast started about Paddington. I wasn't attached to Paddington as a child at all.
Is it? I've heard good things about the movie. Both movies actually. I've heard
Paddington is brilliant.
they're really good.
Yeah, Paddington is brilliant. But that's what I was saying. It's like I had no childhood affinity or nostalgia for Paddington. Yet when I watched it, it made me cry and it was beautiful. Okay, both of them. So I knew that it wasn't just trading on like my childhood nostalgia for it. It was it was decent on its own. Anyway, so I watched Peter Rabbit, which I guess I didn't have childish affinity for either, but I knew as a concept much more than Paddington. I never even read a Paddington book or anything like that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And this movie just like I have a friend on Facebook who, when this movie was announced, posted the trailer and was saying stuff like, Peter Rabbit enters to Smash Mouth's All Star and does a shit on the carpet, that kind of thing.
He's gonna be down with the kids.
Yeah, that's what it looked like it was going to be.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be in that department. But yes, there's a lot of that in it, and it's really mean-spirited. Basically, that obviously the plot is that the rabbits want to eat the veg in the garden.
Right.
And there's a farmer called Mr. McGregor. He dies.
Yes.
He actually dies on camera in front of the children watching this film.
Brutal.
And his like long distant nephew comes and takes over the house. So we have like a young Mr. McGregor now. Anyway, he is allergic to blackberries, and the rabbit force feed him a blackberry that makes him have convulsions, and he uses an EpiPen because he's having an allergic reaction.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, this is Peter Rabbit.
I'm sorry, what? Why is Peter Rabbit trying to murder someone?
Yeah.
He's like, it's like, hey, you diabetic? He's fucking loads of sugar.
Exactly. And several times,
Jesus Christ.
they attach electric batteries to doorknobs. And several moments in the film consist of characters touching doorknobs and getting blown across the other side of the room.
What the fuck?
You know,
These rabbits are
potentially
dicks.
fatal electric shock. Let alone the fact that they then get slammed into the masonry. But I'm getting distracted. Basically, it's just kind of like a mean movie. So we were waiting for Peter Rabbit, and I was watching. There were 3 trailers. One was for Sherlock Gnomes. One was for Duck Goose or something like that. And I can't remember the other one.
Another winner.
All 3 movies had a fart joke in the trailer,
yep,
right?
I have to. Yeah.
And all 3 movies had like a face in bum of someone else moment in the trailer.
Bum funny.
So yeah, it was so hilarious because I kept turning to my wife every time this was happening because she and my mother-in-law wanted to see Peter Rabbit. Now, I didn't mind seeing Peter Rabbit because I pay for a Cineworld card and I want to rinse the fuck out of that thing, so I'll watch anything. But I wasn't overjoyed about going to see Peter Rabbit. I wanted to see... What do I want to see? There are a couple of... I still haven't seen, like Coco and Early Man, that I would probably gone and seen before that.
I really want to see Coco.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good. But... Oh, and the one I really want to see that's out next week or the week after is Isle of Dogs, the new Wes Anderson film.
Oh, yeah, it looks interesting.
That looks great.
It's stop motion, isn't it?
Yeah. So... Anyway, so we watched these trailers, and every time I would turn around to my wife and I would say, "It's funny because he farted," or I would say, like, "That's hilarious because his ass is in his face."
Bum!
Yeah, so I was kind of shocked that Peter Rabbit didn't have a moment like that. The closest it came is James Corden make a crack about, like, "Sorry, I wiped your hairbrush with my tail with your hairbrush," or something like that, kind of implying that he basically, like, wiped his ass on his hairbrush or something. You
mean he didn't make a joke about, look how fat, oh no, fat.
Yeah.
I'm James Corden.
It's
my impression.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
I've completely lost my train of thought. All I'm trying to say basically is
it's horrible.
James Corden annoys the fuck out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hate his forced. His jovial and laddish tendency is so forced and it's horrible. He's just a piece of crap. He really is a really disingenuous piece of shit.
There were a couple of moments in the movie where I couldn't tell whether it was actually kind of like scripted like that, or if they sometimes let these actors do like a little improv.
Yeah, and they shouldn't.
And there were a couple of times where the joke literally was like, I'm trying to think of an example. I can't actually think of an example from the film itself, but I'll come up with an example. So,
oh god, he voices Peter Rabbit. Fuck.
Yeah, he voices Peter Rabbit.
Oh my god.
So, there are like moments where, say, I don't know, like, say someone, it doesn't happen in the movie, but for instance, someone gets hit in the face with a pie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the joke is that they get hit in the face by a pie. So then, like, in this instance, if that had happened in Peter Rabbit, like, a couple of times the joke was that Peter would then turn around and go, "Oh, that's a bit fourth wall, isn't it? Broke through."
Oh, fuck off.
Like, kind of moments of that after jokes, like it'd be like, "Oh, you would expect that to have worked," or something like that,
Oh god, why do they do this? Like they always this is like a thing recently where they go, right, okay, let's make a modern version of a classic children's thing, but let's have the thing as CGI, but we'll have live actors in it. Don't do that, because when you have the real cartoon,
Paddington.
Yeah,
I think that's what happened. And whoever owns the rights to Peter Rabbit or Enid Blyton, is it Enid Blyton's? Like estate, just basically went, "Oh yeah, we should do a Paddington with Peter Rabbit." Except like Paddington has got like charm and finesse and like is lovingly created.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say Paddington, especially Paddington 2, has got some of the. I'm recording. My wife's just interrupted the recording to tell me that she has rabbit ears. Is that what you said?
What?
Okay, it's fine. I've completely lost my train of thought now. Thank you.
Has she taken what? Why has she got rabbit ears? Is there something I should know?
No, I don't know.
Is this some kind of like strange
it's
umbrella
late,
corporation?
It's Sunday evening. I have no idea.
Can she give the
weird
fact of the rabbit?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think what's happened is that. Oh yeah, I was talking about Paddington 2, wasn't I?
Yes.
So Paddington 2 has like some of the best cinematography I've seen this entire year.
What?
Like, of movies, yeah. It's easily, it's got... I struggle for the word to describe the aesthetic, but basically it's kind of got this almost kind of 1920s, like big open rooms, framed really nicely aesthetic. Like the whole cinematography is just so on point. It feels kind of like films like Fantastic Mr. Fox and other things where although it's reality, it's also kind of like cartoony reality, but really framed really nicely and shot really well.
Huh.
Anyway, so I think
I know why.
the people who own Peter Rabbit went, we're going to do one of those Paddingtons, but with Peter Rabbit. And oh yeah, we've got James Corden. Oh no. Well, at least now we'll sell a lot of Easter eggs and toys and shit. Why not?
And people will want to kill themselves. I think I know why Paddington looks that way. It's because it's directed by Paul King, who directed every episode of The Mighty Boosh.
Oh,
which might
that's
explain.
interesting.
I might explain it.
Yeah.
And he worked on Dark Place as well. That's interesting.
I
Garth Marenghi's
love
Dark Place.
Yeah.
Dark Place is so good. But I will have to get around to watching them at some point because
I
I've
would
just heard
watch them.
nothing
I mean,
good
I've
about them.
probably hyped them up
things.
for you now. But even I was told that the reason why I watched Paddington 1 in the first place is because I heard someone else enthused about how they went in and they just enjoyed it, like thoroughly enjoyed it, which probably put me in the right mindset to enjoy them. But I honestly feel like they are just completely... In 2017, 2018, to find something that completely uncynical and just
It's
pure
refreshing.
and honest is, it's so refreshing.
It's like, wait, he doesn't fart and look at the camera and go, "Roar!"
Yep, he doesn't jump through the air and do a Matrix thing. Nothing.
You know what those movies are made for? They made for people that are like the Gumbies from Monty Python's Flying Circus. You know, it's like, I like banging two bricks together. You know, those types of people.
Yeah, that's
He
perfect.
said, bum. You know, so I think
Yep,
that's what those movies are made for.
Peter Rabbit, by the way, has got like a jump through the air with the Matrix thing.
Oh,
He
for
throws a tomato.
God's sake! Of course it
Do
does.
you know what's fucking mind blowing about Peter Rabbit? And I'm sorry, this is completely off topic of the whole entire podcast,
Matrix
but
is
fuck
like
it, I'm here now.
20
I'm gonna do this.
The Matrix was only 20 years ago.
I'm sat there watching Peter Rabbit, right, and this music starts on a sequence, right, and I'm like, I recognise that music, and I'm like, I can't place it, and it's just about to get to where the rap would start in that track, and I'm like, that's a fucking Fort Minor song, which is Linkin Park. Mike Shinoda, the rapper from Linkin Park, his side project is called Fort Minor. And this Fort Minor song starts playing, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Who's this
I'm
movie
watching-
made for?
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, they start rapping where the rap would be, but they're going, like, they're replacing words for, like, vegetables and rabbit references.
Oh, fucking kill me.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? And this bird, like, the way I described it on Facebook is like, and then the bird did a rap, because the birds do raps in this film.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't understand why there's still. I mean, I don't like films, you know, lampooning the Matrix anymore. It's like, guys, it was like nearly 20 years ago. Find something else to make fun of.
Yeah.
But when it's like in a kids' movie, I never understand it because the adults will just be confused. Like, why the fuck are they referencing that? And the kids will have no fucking idea what you're doing.
Exactly.
It'd be like going, hey, did you remember Max Payne? The kids are going to go, fuck is Max Payne? It'd be like if when we were growing up, we had like the Power Rangers movie, right? Power Rangers movie, which for a kid was fucking awesome. It'd be like if they had like some obscure reference to like Easy Rider or fuck it, I don't know. It's like something else
Knight
from
Rider?
like Invasion. Yeah, like it'd be like, what the fuck is this? Like kid would be going, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
hello, David. Like the adults going, why are you doing this? Why? It's
Well,
like,
they
please,
clearly
everyone."
do kind of shoehorn in references that obviously winks and nods that adults will get. I mean, like even
They're
Pixar
awake.
does that. But when it's
do it
like
well.
the basis of your like entire sequence or whatever, it's like
Yeah,
it would be like
this movie for?
I don't know. It would be like Paddington having like a moment where it's a homage to The Italian Job or something. Like,
yeah, or if you turned around, like, to be really obscure and just went, "These prices are dynamite," you know, be like, what the fuck is that? That's some like really obscure thing from America. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I think I hate movies.
Well, if you hate movies, go watch Paddington and Paddington 2 because I feel like it's impossible to hate those movies.
Yeah, I will.
Challenge accepted.
He's like, yeah, damn it, I want to.
I'm going to hate this movie.
Doesn't he? It is Paddington that loves Marmite, isn't it?
Yes,
yes.
Well, no, marmalade sandwiches.
Marmalade. Fuck. Who's it like Marmite? I can't remember.
Nobody.
No one
one.
likes Marmite.
Nobody.
Wait, no. I think they did. That was it. I'm pretty sure in like the 90s, Marmite had like an ad campaign with Paddington, and it was just Marmite instead of marmalade. I'm sure.
Paddington.
Sure of it. Am I going mad? Yes. Paddington Bear Marmite TV commercial.
Yeah, I appreciate that the yes was at the fact that you'd found it, but you just said, "Am I going mad? Am I going mad?" Yes.
Yeah, he's like it was just like Paddington. It was like in the style of the old show from, I don't know, probably the 60s or the 70s. I imagine the original show was, and it's just him like eating Marmite sandwiches. And weird zany things happen. Oh yeah.
Okay.
He causes like accidents and stuff.
I'd be like, oh, why?
I can't stand Marmite.
You're both
I've
heathens
never
and you
had
need to
it,
die.
But as far as I know, it's like really disgusting stuff. Marmite.
It's just really salty, really kind of like. My mum's like used to put a little bit of it in the gravy and then go, "Do you like the gravy?" And I go, "Yeah." And she go, "Ha, there's Marmite in it." I'm like, "Yeah, there's like a tiny amount of Marmite in it."
Yeah.
Mum. It's like I can't even eat coffee sweets that have got like a tiny amount of coffee in there. Coffee is just
there we go. You can get Marmite Paddington gift pack. It comes with a squeezy Marmite tub and a little Paddington teddy bear.
Nice.
No, I'm getting for Christmas.
Struck
I know
gold.
what I'd rather eat. I'd rather
Fucking
eat
Marmites.
teddy bear, to be honest.
Marmite and peanut butter is the tits.
Marmite
Really?
peanut butter?
Yeah, Marmite and peanut butter is strange. It mixes really well.
I've had
can be a
peanut
bit
butter and
strange.
chocolate spread, obviously, and I've had peanut butter and I've tried the peanut butter and jelly, aka jam.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
I see.
As tired memes go, it's pretty good.
This is not bad.
Speaking of
not bad.
tired, I've
It's kinda
listened
good.
to you guys talk about Paddington Bear, Peter Rabbit for like the last 27 minutes, and I am exhausted. I don't know if I even have it in me for What Remains of Edith Finch.
That's a bad thing. Like anything's better than talking about that, surely.
Yeah.
Well, we've been avoiding it for a while, but I guess
It's got good things. Okay.
yeah, we should
it's short.
take a look at What Remains of Edith Finch.
Sure.
So,
So anyway, Paddington 2. Making a third one.
Let's Paddington out this fucking podcast. Paddington cast. All of a sudden,
Paddingcast.
we only watch
Anyways,
wholesome movies here.
Spoilers of the Wholesome,
Yeah.
our sister cast.
Yep.
I picked What Remains of Edith Finch.
Why?
I
No,
apologise, first of all.
sorry.
Yeah. The reason why I picked What Remains of Edith Finch is I watch a couple of people on YouTube who do kind of, I guess they're like video essays about game design. I can't remember who exactly did it. It might have been, there's one guy called Mark Brown, there's another guy, I can't remember their names. I literally just click on their videos when they show up in the subscription. But he was doing a breakdown of kind of like, he'll do an end of year review where he'll kind of talk about bits from games that he really liked, and he likes things that, you know, push the boundaries or kind of like, you know, question what makes a video game, or, you know, all that kind of shit.
Well, the question is not answered by this game. That's for sure.
Well, no. But he showcased... First of all, he said, spoilers, if you're going to play Edith Finch, go play it. And obviously, I didn't listen to that. I should have listened to the warning of time and just gone, no, I must not watch this next bit because I might play that one day, and then never have gone into it.
Right.
Because I would have forgotten about it. But the point is, he showed me a bit of the game, and he showed me single-handedly the most interesting piece of the game, which is a problem because I didn't realize that at the time. So I sat there going, whoa, this is Knockout. So basically he showed off the section involving I can't remember their names, who cares.
Yeah.
The one who works in the canning factory.
Ted. Let's call him Ted.
Ted?
Let's just call him Ted.
Ted's
Fuck it, why not?
dead. Yeah.
Ted's a fucking idiot.
We'll call him Tedith. So, yeah, Tedith works in the canning factory, and he's having, we'll talk about that section later on.
I like this. Edith Finch. Okay, go for it.
Yeah. So, anyway, we'll talk about that section when we get to it later on. But that section was included in his video, and he was kind of showing off, how great this section is. And I agreed. I watched it, and I thought, oh, that looks like a really good section. This game looks like it's really good based on this. And aside from them, I also heard a couple of other people talking on podcasts, especially at the end of the year, going, "Oh, game of the end of the year. My nominations are blah blah blah. Oh, and by the way, Edith Finch was really good." So I heard from a couple of places that this Edith Finch game was pretty good, and so I thought, you know what? This sounds like a good choice for the podcast. And yeah, this is how it's turned out.
Here we are.
I'm on my knees in a supplicative pose. I've already lashed myself repeatedly.
We'll do it again.
In penance.
Do more.
Do it again.
I want some Hail Marys and some...
I'm lashing myself right now, guys.
Good.
Harder.
Don't stop. Yeah. Scream.
Why did you pick the game?
Well, I picked the game because I thought it would all be as interesting as that section, and truth be told,
not even that section
was
interesting.
Arguably the best section in the game.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't. Sorry, I don't mean to stomp it out.
As a concept,
but I heard about that section from a guy at work who was talking about it, because that's what everyone seemed to talk about when they talked about Edith Finch.
That section,
and and I was like, well, I mean, that doesn't sound bad. It might be kind of cool because you have to do two different things at once, and I work at a factory, so I can understand what Edith Finch is going through. Except that his factory is more of oh my god, what's his name? Oh my god. Okay, the guy who did Edward Scissorhands, Tim Burton. Sort of like a Tim Burton-esque factory where everything is dark and lonely and unnecessarily grimy. Because normally if you work in a factory, you're working with people, so there's no chance that Edith Finch would have just chopped his own head off like he did, unless he just went to work with that in mind. I'm gonna do it today. No one's gonna stop me. That's a different thing, and that would have been a much better game. Get Edith Finch to cut his head off, and you have to fight your way to the chopper.
Literally.
Yeah, not that kind of chopper. The other kind.
Yeah, the chopper. Both effective for removing heads. But the thing was, I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound that bad. So when you offered up play this game, I was like, cool, I get to see that moment. And then I played 7 minutes, and I mean 7 minutes because that's what Steam told me. 7 minutes of this game, and I knew. I was like, no, I'm not playing this game. I'm going to get my refund. I bought this game 2 weeks ago. I'm still within that moment that I can get my refund. I got my $15 back. I found somebody who put up a no commentary let's play of it, and it was an hour and a half long. And I watched it, and it had 15 commercials in it, but you know what? That guy went through hell to give me that experience.
He deserves
it. I don't mind that at all. But every minute I was like, oh my god, this game is awful. The only point where I felt like this game, and I don't mean I knew this as I was playing it, but I mean in retrospect after completing it, the only point that was actually a horror theme was when Edith Finch was walking up to her house and she said, I didn't have words for this how I felt about the house, but now I do. I am afraid of this house. And I'm like, oh boy, maybe some spooky thing was going to happen, maybe a ghost or something. And then you get in the house and everything's bright, lit, sunny all the time. There is no darkness. And the only thing that's weird is that the doors were sealed up. And I was like, the doors are sealed up? And then I was like, okay, that's weird. I'll go upstairs. Can't go there. Can't go here. Can't go here. I can only go through one thing. I'm like, okay, you know what? That's it. That's this game. This game is a walking simulator almost to the definition of holding W to get to the end of the game. I'm not playing this shit anymore. So that's why I stopped. You are one clever bastard because I can't get my money back. Yeah. It's in Edith Finch's pockets now. Yeah.
Fuck you, Edith Finch.
I mean, at the credits when I saw Team Edith Finch and it was 5 years of development, I was like, what? Did they just get together and fucking do coke for 4.5 years? When they showed all those pictures of them as a team and everything, I was just kind of
stop slapping yourself on the back.
I could tell this is some kind of passion project, but that's a long time to spend on a game that doesn't really have any real gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you look at all these really these games that take less time than that, have more gameplay, and more interesting, look better. Yeah. And it might be like a bigger team, but it was all the photos. Like, stop fucking. How fucking important do you think you all are? Fuck off.
We're pushing the industry. You know? No, you're not. You're not.
Did you guys play the first game this team made? Because I haven't. It's the Unfinished Swan.
I know Terry Gilliam's in it.
Like, that's actually in it.
He does the voice. Yeah, he's the voice of the king or something.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
That's all I know.
I think I have it on my PS3. It was one of those games where it was like, it's on sale or something, and I picked it up.
Yeah.
Because
it might have been like free. I mean, like on the PlayStation Plus games or something.
Yeah. Like I was thinking, at the time, like there was a time when art games started like exploding, right? Like we have the Unfinished Swan, we have Gone Home, we have a whole bunch of other things I can't quite remember right now, but I know there was at least 5 or 6 of them that were like everyone's talking about them, and for a time I was like really kind of proud, like we were doing something that wasn't just like killing and shooting first-person shooter games. So getting some clout in the industry, like, see, there's things that are thoughtful here too. I was even once told that there was like a video game exhibit at like a high-end museum, and this was like a few years back, so like all the details are going out of my head right now. But I was like, yes, that's right, video games are art. And now I'm like the most adamant opposer for video games being art. Because, like, if you had a Rubik's Cube, that's a game. Okay? You solve the puzzle. That the activity of solving the puzzle is the game. But if someone gave you an already solved Rubik's Cube and they were like, here, play this game, and you're like, I have to make the game first and then I have to play it. You didn't give me a game. You gave me a Rubik's Cube that was already solved. I'm already technically done. I can put this down. That's Edith Finch. That's right there. Like, the game is a
good description, actually.
The game is already done. You just have to fucking make the game yourself and then play through it yourself.
That's true, actually.
And it's a very pretty Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, I mean, I won't fault them for the art. Like I said, like sorry, I didn't say this on the podcast, but in our Facebook conversations, if this was just a Pixar animated short, it would have been perfectly fine. It would have been perfectly fine. It wouldn't have been a 10 out of 10, because that whole, like, curse thing not being explained, why do people die at this house, doesn't make any sense, except for it's, like, poorly constructed, if you know what I mean. Like, why is there, like, several additions on the side of the house going towards the sky, and how that shit doesn't fall is beyond me. But, like, if this was just a Pixar animated short, it could retain everything that the game is, and just don't make me put in the work of holding W to get to the end of the game and clicking on things. Yeah. And then it would have been like a 5 or 6 out of 10 animated short. I would have remembered it as a short and been like, yeah, that was kind of cool. I'll just move on with my life now. Instead of like, I have purchased this video game that's not a video game ever. Like all the little like dream sequences, which I thought they were like some sort of like weird fantasy dream sequences, and I know I'm just like cutting straight into the middle of this shit, but like when you get to Molly Finch, which is the first person who died in the house, she is a young girl.
Oh, the little girl.
Yeah, the little girl. You get into her room through some like side window or something, and then you can see like this little shrine that somebody built for her that you can read her
creepy
story.
Shrine.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is kind of creepy, but then you pick up the paper and it tells you the story of Molly Finch, and then you become Molly Finch, and she's hungry, and it's like, okay, that's kind of weird. Maybe they're starving this little girl. That's horrible. I mean, I don't know what's going on yet. This is the beginning. And then she like walks around, she eats the dry carrot out of the gerbil's cage. That's terrible. I mean, she really should just like go out into the kitchen or something and sneak some food if she's hungry. And then she eats a fucking whole toothpaste tube. And I'm like, no, you can't even consume it that fast. If you were to try to like take a full toothpaste tube, twist off the cap, put the thing in your mouth, and just like fucking squirt it all down your throat, like a fucking pro. Like she did it like she was like training for a competition toothpaste eating. Whoop. I mean, it was effective as an animation. But if you start like applying some sort of real world sense here, it's like, okay, this is where it stops. I don't know what the hell's going on. I had sympathy for this person. Now she's a monster. So, which is ironic considering she becomes a monster at the end of this little fairy tale. She's still hungry and she sees a bird out of a window, so she's going to try to get the bird. I'm like, you can't just eat a bird. But then she becomes a cat. Oh.
Like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
It's like,
this whole sequence felt a bit mean as well. Like, I didn't like chasing the bird. I didn't like trying to catch the bird, and I was like, I know I have to because that's the only way we're going to make any kind of forward progress.
Yeah.
There is only one way forward.
Exactly.
You must go along the corridor.
It would have been like a different thing if the game was to catch the bird, but the game was just to hold W until you get to the bird, which is conveniently stopped for you to get to, because the bird gets tired. It's like birds fly south for the winter. You know, they migrate. They fly for long periods of time. And even if you were to cut the idea of that in half, like, this is either one super lazy bird, who's just like, or it's like a deep, like, edgelordy suicidal bird, like, I don't give a fuck, eat me, I'm tired of being alive anyway. You know, like...
You know why it was suicidal, don't you?
It's in What Remains of Edith Finch?
In this game.
Yeah, because he realized it was in the game. Like, fuck this.
It gains sentience, like a little Ghost in the Shell action. It's like, no, not here, no!
Aw,
damn it!
not this way.
Not this way. What did I do? What did I do in a past life? So, Molly eats the bird. As a cat. She's a cat. Remember, she's a cat. Yep. And then she becomes an owl, because reasons. And then she's flying. And I'm like, well, that's probably the most fun of the game, where you can actually hold the button and do something instead of going straight. You know?
Almost the most fun bit of the game. Well, to me anyway, my favourite bit is coming up later. Yeah. I'll point it out when we get
I'll let y'all handle some of the other Finches. I'm just going to cover Molly Finch, because that's like the most jarring session for me. She became an owl. And then she's like, now she's having a self-narrative about like, eating a mouse. So she hears a mouse in the grass, so she has to go get the mouse. Like, okay, whatever. She's hungry, but now she's an owl, whatever. You fly, and I guess you press a button, and you just dive and get a mouse. I don't think there even has to be a mouse in sight. You could probably have just dove, and it would just, like, hitbox pull a mouse into the owl's grasp, and then you just take it away and you eat it alive. And then you eat like a bigger, like you eat a rabbit too. Like the owl must be a super monster as well. Like just gorge itself on a whole rabbit.
Swallows it.
Yeah, it just swallows the whole rabbit. I mean, a mouse I can understand. A rabbit though? A rabbit, even at its smallest, that would like gag an owl to death. But whatever. It became an owl.
And then it goes specifically, you have to catch another rabbit, and it's like a mummy rabbit. And I was just like, this is mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, nature.
Molly Finch, you are a little fucking monster.
I'm glad you're dead.
Yeah, like that's nature.
There are a couple of people in this
like,
game. I'm glad they died.
Right.
Yeah, the whole family made of idiots.
Right. And so she becomes an owl, and she eats the mommy bunny, and I think that's when she becomes a shark. And then she starts rolls out of the tree, and then she rolls down the hill, down a hill into the water, and then you start going after seals. And it's like, what? And then you become an actual like Cthulhu-esque tentacled monster. Okay. And then you have tentacles like on a boat, and you start eating humans. But it's like that seemed like it would be like a fun thing to actually play, moving the tentacle around. Mm-hmm. But then you just sort of make contact with the human, and it just sort of falls into you. You don't even get like that cool, satisfying like crunch and rip, which would have added to some of the very lackluster horror themes in the game. And then after that, it's like you hear something distant, something that's delicious, and then you end up going back to Molly's room as the monster, and you go under her bed, and you become the monster under her bed, and then you become Molly again, but you know the monster's still under the bed. And like the most effective writing in this, like now that I'm talking about it, now that I remember it, is when she says that you and I both know that I will be delicious. And I was like, holy shit. That was like, oh, okay, yeah. And then like the tentacle, like it fades to black, and you don't really see her do anything else after that, but you can assume Molly died. But then you come back to reality, and it's like, wait, did any of that actually happen? Or did I just like touch an LSD-infused note and just hallucinate vividly for 20 minutes?
So she's got, I mean, not only did she remember her dream perfectly, but perhaps it was when she ate those berries that she just started to trip balls.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm a tentacle monster.
Yes, Molly, get in bed. The toothpaste is kind of laced with
LSD,
with some kind of
medicine. God!
Yeah.
Like...
It was like the 50s, so you never know.
Yeah, it could have been some cocaine in that Colgate.
I mean, it's a cool line when she says, "And we know I will be delicious." I was like, "Wow, that's really chilling." But then my brain started thinking, what child talks like that?
Yeah.
What 5-year-old child goes, I will be delicious, mother, when I'm served as part of the raison d'etre. Children don't talk like that. She'd be like, oh, circle monster.
Yeah. She should be like, ah! Like, you should just, like, have that end with her screaming. And then you could
just a series of A's and H's written on the paper.
Right, and then the exclamation points interspersed throughout.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it when she was like, I know it's under my bed. I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's creepy. But it was, and we both know that I will be delicious. Like, all right, you've grown up by 20 years, apparently.
And you have a very advanced palate.
Yeah, I know, it'll be exquisite.
I've eaten children before, and I know that I'm properly prepared. I have been raised.
I've eaten my own flesh before, and I'm delicious.
Oh my god, you guys. Like, literally in my head, I just had, you bring me this child and it's fucking raw. Fuck off. You pig. Watched too much Hell's Kitchen. Too much.
You French pig. You stupid donkey.
This child is fucking delicious. That's something no one should ever say. Oh my god.
Well, they shouldn't say it, but people probably do. Anyway, and moving on.
Yeah, as you do, we'll just press W and you go past Molly's room. It's like, okay, what next? But it's like after that, it all just sort of goes even further downhill to me. Like there isn't even anything specifically horror like laced except for that stuff. One. And
the thing that really annoyed me is that first one happens, and although it's kind of a bit mean and some of it doesn't add up, there's enough kind of like glimpses of, like you said, that sentence and everything is kind of a little bit creepy. It's like, okay, there's something here. My problem was then when you move on to the next couple of Finches, where they don't have sections at all. Like, literally one is just like a storybook you flip through, and then they get filled in on the family tree. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Not everything gets like its own full big vignette.
Right.
It's like, some of them are going to last like 20 seconds. Really? Okay.
What about, I know this is skipping ahead as well, but what about the way she just completely just blows over the fact that her dad's dead? Like, she's like, oh, that's where Mum met Dad. But fuck him, because he's brown. So we're going to move... obviously it's not that, but it just seems really weird how she's like, oh yeah, that's Mum and Dad. Like, okay, we're going to learn about your dad? No.
I guess it's Finches only. So. Yeah,
well, fuck him, I guess. Even though he apparently died doing good things, but he doesn't get a story. But what we do get is, well, the guy flying his kite, because wasn't that exciting? That's my favourite. That just literally just remember that. That was great, that bit.
Yeah. That's when I was like watching and I was like, man, this must have been so fun to play. But the good thing either was that I'm sorry, not either, but the good thing was that the LP that I watched was straight to the point. The bad thing was I don't think you could have avoided the point. I don't think there was anything else you could have done in the game to really stretch out the gameplay except for just love flying the kite. Whee!
I just kept making it bounce up and down on the gazebo. It's like, fuck you, Dad!
I hate that you're getting married and being happy.
Yeah, because it was like, oh, and then he died. And it's like, good, little fucking shitbag.
Yeah, I was like, I can't wait. I can't wait for this to be over the whole time.
Yeah, can't wait for you to get electrocuted or something, you prick.
I'm ashamed of you! I have never been more ashamed of anything in my life. Oh man!
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I feel that way about
all of them.
Edith's mum's dad. Does that make sense? I think his name was Sam.
Sure.
The hunting trip. Now I think that was a really.
Oh, you mean the hunter who apparently didn't know what he was doing?
Yes.
Jesus
at all.
So contrived.
Yeah, it was. I felt like the gameplay was kind of interesting. I mean, it was very minimal. Like, it was literally just move the thing to the right place and press A.
Yeah.
Well, they clearly got bored, didn't they?
Yeah, but he's a mean fucker as well. It's like his daughter's like, I don't want to shoot it, and he's like, no, shoot it.
You gotta shoot that motherfucker.
And then like it knocks him off a cliff. I'm like, good, Sam Finch, fuck off.
Like, Dad, it's moving. He's like, that's what. And he doesn't say like, she's like, Dad, its head's moving. He goes, that's what they do when they're dead. I'm like, they do?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, things get up and walk around for a bit after you just shot them in the brain.
Well, no, they don't get up and walk around, but twitching does happen.
But she's like, no, the head is moving. He's like, it's for I mean, again, I laughed because it was quite comedic. It's like, oh, it caught him as he was falling, and she kept it.
Yep,
she kept the photo.
Yeah, memories.
I can't keep that one of Dad falling to his death. Oh, good. Right, better put it that way. Seal the door.
Yeah, like the album has got like on the front written like treasured memories, and then it's like, oh, here's the day my dad forced me to shoot an animal, and then it killed him.
And then he died as he plummeted off the. I'm surprised there was another one which is like a close up of his like brains splattered on the rocks or something. Like, this is where we found him. He's just like like mangled. His arms are like sticking out of his eyes and stuff. I thought I'd put it away as a reminder. But I'll keep all his hunting equipment. That's where she went mad, you see.
Wow.
Yeah, really Yeah, and then there was what? There's the one with the swing.
Yeah, that was
I know
ridiculous. Like, why is he killing himself? He's like, I'm
why
gonna
is there
fly.
a swing there?
I'm gonna fly. Yeah, right? The Finchers were like, you just go out and play, son. I can't wait for him to kill himself.
Yeah.
Like,
There's no curse. There's no curse. They're all just stupid.
Yeah. It's like, ooh, beware the curse of parental responsibility.
Right?
Yeah. Ooh, I could go out and get him myself, but that means walking. Get out, you lazy bastard.
Walking.
It makes a lot more sense when, like, the social workers call round and it's like, oh, no, there's a curse that's following us from Norway or some shit.
Yeah.
Excuse me, madam, where did your child die? Oh, this is the swing he was on at the time. The swing that's directly in front of a chasm, is that correct? Like, oh yes, with the sharp rocks below. Oh yes, that's right. Nothing out of the ordinary here. We'll see you later, thank you, Mrs. Finch.
I think there actually might be a curse.
Well, I think they're right, you know.
You're right, you know. It's like a Monty Python skit already. Especially with those voices. I think they're right, you know. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's the contrivance.
I was reading because I decided to check out a kind of quote unquote plot guide slash theories, which is funny. Yeah, I thought that we'd have so much to talk about after this game in terms of like, ooh, what happened? What did it mean? And like, fuck it, like my head's checked out.
That's the thing, like, because I got like more. I think I'd say I got more than halfway into it, and I was still feeling it. I was enjoying it, but that's because I still felt that there was a point to it. I felt like it was actually going somewhere, because the whole game we're like, Mum gave me a key to come back here to find something out. I'm still waiting. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna find something out. What's beyond the library? Oh, the first room that you really see that's sealed up, and all this stuff, and you keep mentioning it.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not what's important, man.
It's the journey.
Not the destination. No, you can't promise things like that and then just take it away from me. You can't do that.
Yeah. No, they can. They did it, and you paid for it.
Yeah. No, you don't understand. It's like what she learnt was shit happens. You know? Like, what she learnt was don't stay in the house that's on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finches are stupid.
No offense to any
Really
real
stupid.
Finches who are may or may not be listening to this. And if you're not listening to this and you still heard it, then you're a fucking wizard.
Fuck you, Wizard Finch.
Wizard Finch. Like the second one the one that I actually kind of liked, except that, well, no, I'm not going to explain any further. I did kind of like it. Was Barbara Finch, the child actor?
Yeah, that was. Yeah. You know what? And that took me completely by surprise. Like, I liked the style of it.
Right, exactly. Like, I thought that fit
and then,
for our spoilers thing pretty good, like our podcast, because it's like,
yeah.
Okay, we're talking about actual horror tropes and all that kind of stuff,
fun.
And it was fun, sure, and it was even a little bit of a game because I think you actually had to hide and like take out the intruder in the house and that kind of stuff with the
you like twonked him with a crutch.
Yeah, with a crutch. You knock him out and that kind of stuff. And it also explains how the banister was broken in real life in the house. But my problem with it is that, like, okay, that's a comic book, but there's signs in the house that really happened. But that's a comic book.
Yeah, like
what?
Who wrote this?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I liked about that section is that that's the section that teaches you can keep rotating the clock to get the key for the basement.
Yeah.
And that gave me real kind of like Resident Evil 7. Like the second it happened, I was like, oh shit, we can go do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the real house.
Yeah, it was one of the more video gamey moments. You go, oh, that's a really clever way to explain the solution to a puzzle to the player.
Yeah.
And then what's in the basement? Oh, apparently my uncle lived down here for ages.
So they not only did they build a house on the edge of a cliff, but they built a bunker. But that was like right next to a train line.
Yeah.
Fuck knows where the train line went.
Yeah, exactly. Where's it going?
Yeah, it's going to the sea. I mean, but another thing that was quite cool actually about the horror sequence was for some reason it had the Halloween theme.
Yeah.
Which was weird. That was really weird. But I mean, I'm not complaining. Even though it wasn't the original, I think it was like from one of the sequels, like the 4th or the 5th or something fucking horrible. But yeah, I mean, I liked that, but then it ended, and then the rest of the game happened.
Well, like, like with the comic book thing, the problem that I really, I mean, like I said, I like the comic book scenario. I liked how it played out in the comic books, but like I really, it just kept reinforcing that what was fantastical was real, and I guess that's what the curse was, is that like certain weird things happened. Like we're looking for like, okay, why is this curse here? Why does it kill people and all that kind of stuff? But I think what the creators or designers of this game were doing were just like, none of that matters. We're just going to have strange things happen, and the things that are strange are really happening. And I don't know. I'm talking in circles because this game sucks.
Well, yeah, it's trying to employ the fantastical in the everyday, which is kind of interesting, and it's a nice concept, you know, and I appreciate films that do that, kind of like, I don't know, like the films that come to mind are things like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where, you know, stuff kind of happens, it's like, is this in their heads or is it real, you know, that kind of like surrealist kind of stuff.
Or
and
like,
I feel like this
Brazil.
kind of, yeah, I feel like this kind of dips its toes in.
Doesn't do enough.
But doesn't do enough. Yeah, it's kind of, you know how we talked about Limbo before, and we were kind of like, they've left it so ambiguous. Like even there, it feels like there are crumbs that you can piece together.
Oh,
and
there
here,
is.
Like it is all pieced together, but it doesn't like mean anything. It's just here are some people's lives and like some quirky kind of things that may or may not have happened.
Yeah.
And
like maybe the family's just got a history of mental illness.
Right.
Yeah.
Like with,
But again, there's not enough. There's not enough that they give you to.
for sure.
It's like they have all these things, but there's not enough to really go on to even form your own. I mean, your own opinion. Like Limbo, there's enough tiny little pieces where you can speculate and you can like, you know, bounce ideas off of each other.
Like was it a
Whereas
car
this, it's
accident
just
or whatever. That's fine.
Yeah. But in this, it's just like, oh, my family's dead, but you carry on, son, who's like really young and has just gone to the grave apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, here's what remains of Edith Finch, by the way.
But see, that's what's ridiculous, is that she went on this little journey through her house, and she goes all the way up to her room, which was like the tippy top part of the fucking like extra expansions to the house that hang off into the distance. That like easily, like some Finch wanted their daughter to die, just like Sam, because like you know with like the swing.
There are too many.
Yeah, the swing that goes off the cliff. Her house is like hanging over the cliff. All it has to do is just not fucking work. A strong wind could just blow her house away. And then she'd go flying off into the ocean or something. But she goes up there, lays down in bed, fade to black. Now you're the sun. Did she die up there? But she was still pregnant. She was like 6 months pregnant. They used the word. They actually used the word 6 months pregnant when she tries to get to the cat door. Well, she succeeds in getting to the cat door. So she must have been really small to begin with. And then she goes up to her room, lays down, fade to black. 6 months pregnant. So she died there with 3 months to go, technically speaking, and somehow gave birth to a kid during that death. You know, like there's nothing. Like nothing makes any fucking sense. Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. You know?
Well, the implication is that she must have died during childbirth or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's the implication. But yeah,
Because family sucks.
the question is, why did she go there 3 months before she popped? And
Yep.
what did she do? What did she accomplish?
Nothing.
Like, I guess she found out that her uncle lived in the basement bunker until she was like 6. I guess she discovered that. Was there anything else that she actually like discovered? I can't remember. There must have been stuff that her mum wasn't telling her that she kind of found out about. All it was just, here are some family members you had who had, you know, died in circumstances.
Yeah,
The end.
I don't think there is, like, because the whole game she's like, oh, my mum's obviously wanted me to see something. I'm like, well, what did she want you to see? What was it?
Yeah.
I guess
fact
she
that
wanted
you're-
you to read these books and see these pictures and have like a little kind of like 5-minute LSD trip.
Yeah, because she keeps talking about all the secrets she held from me. Like, there's no secrets. Your family was just really, they were either unlucky or stupid.
Yeah. Say for instance, her brother. She would have known about her brother the whole time. She would have been there when it was like, you know, they came home and said your brother's died at work or whatever, and you know all that So that's not news to her. So why is it like near the end?
Yeah,
I know why it's near the end is because it's kind of like following a family tree, and it's sort of starts way back and then moves forward.
I think it should start from the beginning and move its way back. That's far more interesting.
Exactly, and she would know more about the people who she was around when things happened to them.
Yeah.
But I guess the whole thing is kind of about family and kind of like that there are these people in your family, I guess, who have these weird tales and stuff. It feels like it's making a statement about life and family, but again, much like other stuff we've talked about in the past, it's kind of like you can tell it's trying to make this statement, but it just
It makes as clear a statement. It makes as clear a statement about family and life as I make clear statements in German. It doesn't have a complete vocabulary. It puts things out of fucking order.
Yeah, that's perfect.
All the elements are there, but
analogy.
like nobody can understand what I'm trying to say.
Oh man, it's just so confusing because I've just read so many reviews of this game in the past 24 hours, and they're all so glowing, and they're all so kind of like, oh, this is moving and important. And I'm sat here, and it's like I've just not got the joke. It's like, what?
Yeah, like what? It's like I don't get I don't get it. It's just like I don't get it. Like they're all 9s, and I haven't seen a bad review for it. The worst I saw was EGM gave it like a 7. Where they gave it 7 and they just say it fails to live up to its potential.
Yeah, which I feel is fair. I would probably have given it a 6 out of 10 rather than a 7, but
yeah,
I would have given it a 2 out of 10.
It's just it's one of those things. Everyone they go, oh, it's majestic and it's thought-provoking and it's an experience that every gamer should experience at least once in their life. But I'll tell you this, right? If it's because there's no replay value,
none.
Don't fucking charge me like 16 quid for a game that I can complete in an hour and a half and has no fucking replay value. Fuck off.
Like, the only thing that would
I don't
be
care how
interesting
farty
is
it
that
is.
you can go and get the key to the basement much earlier with the foreknowledge that you have after Barbara Finch's story. But then you just like speedrun the game.
Does it let you though?
Probably not.
It might not.
Probably not.
It might not even
probably
let you sequence break, because I don't know. I'd have to check that, but I get the feeling that you wouldn't be able to do it until you'd seen it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think this game has that much like forethought to like help you speedrun it. Oh god,
Well, and the thing is, I would pay 16 quid to have a one-time through experience if that experience was life-changing or very moving, and I don't feel like this one is. And I was talking about this before we started the cast, but I was reading the Guardian review of this game, which incidentally they give it a 5 out of 5.
Of course.
Perfect game, everybody.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
perfect.
Cannot be made better.
No.
That's what a 5 out of 5 means.
Can't be
isn't it?
improved.
Yeah, it's better than like Red Dead Redemption stuff like where you can pour like 60 hours into it. But this, I mean, tells a nice little story that would be on like one episode of the fucking Twilight Zone or something.
Yeah.
But the final, I was reading the final paragraph to Chris before we started. So I'll quote verbatim. What Remains of Edith Finch is a game that succeeds in recreating the childhood joy of reading a book and being utterly transported into its pages, only to reach the end and realise it's not real.
What?
Okay, maybe. But the next sentence is the clincher. It will touch the heart of all but the most soulless of gamers.
Oh, fuck off, you pretentious wanker.
Now, we were talking earlier about Season 1 of The Walking Dead. Telltale's Season 1 of The Walking Dead. That is a game that made me cry. Like, and I'm not afraid to admit
fucking
it.
Heartbreaking.
I blubbed. And to then turn around to me and say, you are soulless if you're not moved by What Remains of Edith Finch. I was not moved by What Remains of Edith Finch, at all. Like, and I was expecting it to. I was hoping it would, and it just didn't.
Well, the thing is that every time it'd do something that I thought was a little bit sad, my brain would kick it into gear and go, wait a minute, like with Walter. It's sad, he gets out, he finally plucks up the courage after so many years, and he gets out of the bunker because the monsters stopped coming. and then there's train tracks, and I immediately knew what was going to happen, because if anything, trains sneak up on you because they make no sound. They make no sound. Like I have to keep an eye out for them because they just like whiz past. I'm like, whoa, what was that?
That was a train.
Whoa, Jesus, fucking stealth trains, motherfuckers.
Like you don't feel
motherfucking stealth trains.
You don't feel the vibrations of the tracks at all. Like it's just it's like it's floating upon air, like magnet rails or something like that.
Yeah,
300
exactly.
miles an hour.
It's just like that's all you hear. And I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. Pour water in. And then my brain started working. I was like, wait a minute. So he may or may not have seen his older sister being murdered.
Right.
So instead of taking him to child therapy or having him talk to the police, his mother or grandmother or whatever she was, no, his mother, locks him in a bunker, like the hatch from Lost.
Keep him secret. Keep him safe.
Keeps him loads of tinned food. Obviously tells him the rumbling's a monster. And he lives out the rest of his pitiful existence in a small little room. And then gets run over by a train.
Yeah, eating the same kind of peaches, like, every day.
Yeah, I was just like, why? That's a really weird thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
And on top of that, like, the peaches are delivered to him through, like, a tube system. So, like, at some point, Mom, what are you doing? I'm going to put these peaches in this tube.
I'm just posting the peaches down the pipe like I do every day.
Worry.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm fighting a monster off. Yeah, and it's just... And then they keep building it up again. Like, what happened to her young brother? What happened to her young brother? What happened to her young brother? He just disappeared. Yeah. Oh, well, we get a flick book. That explains it. He opened a magic door.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what happens in a lot of children's books, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of children's books,
you're talking about
it's build up.
Yeah,
because if that review is what he's talking about, I mean, because what happens in children's books, I mean, like The Hobbit, there's loads of build up and then it just ends with Bilbo taking a shit. It doesn't end with actual like payoff or anything of you beat the dragon and then the dwarves and the elves and shit fought off the orcs. The end, like happy story. He gets loads of riches and he goes back to the Shire. In this, it's just like well. This flipbook's like, well, we'll never know what happened.
Yeah.
You see?
It's like...
Think about that.
It's like a video game made out of shitty campfires, like horror stories.
Yeah, it's like... And then she found a flickbook. And in the flickbook, he drew himself painting a magic door that she had seen painted just 5 minutes prior. What happened then? She put the flickbook down. And then she went to sleep. Oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. It's too terrifying. At least find his bones or something like mangled in the fucking crawl space.
Right, have him get...
Just something.
Have him also be hit by the train. Make the train a ghost. Make the train the curse. The train actually followed them from Norway all the way to America. And that's why it doesn't make any sense for the train to not be there. Because, like, the train shouldn't even have tracks going to the edge. And it's just like, have the whole house be hit by a train at the end of the fucking game. Oh.
It's like the ghost train from Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah. Or the phantom train from Final Fantasy 6.
Quick, suplex it.
Yes! Bum rush! Oh, man. I love Final Fantasy so much.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's such a poor defense of I mean, a lot of critics do it, and they always try and word it in a way where that a lot of them do it as well.
Yeah.
They always try to word it in a way so that it makes you feel bad for not liking it. Like, well, if you actually do call yourself a connoisseur of the art house gaming circle, then you should like this. Because if you don't, then you are clearly just a piece of shit who likes nothing and has no idea what they're doing. They always word it in a way where they try to make you feel guilty, like saying, if you don't feel anything, well, yeah, obviously haven't got a soul, have you?
Yeah, you're obviously
evil, and you like watching babies getting beaten and animals being shot. It's that type of mentality.
Like with the Ghostbusters marketing, the new Ghostbusters movie, where it's like, if you don't like this, then you're just like some male chauvinist pig. That's the only possible way it can be,
And then they do that, and then they act like, why is everyone's back turned up? I don't know why everyone's back's up. Why are people so angry? Like, because you just judged them.
Yeah, you just judged everybody. Yeah,
like a trailer that was shit.
That movie was terrible.
It was so bad. But yeah, again, I think what annoyed me the most was that it felt so the game felt very smug.
Yeah.
Really smug with the way it was like, well, you see, Matthew, you thought you were going to get answers, but we don't get answers in real life now, do we? Yes, that's why I play video games. That's the point of a story.
Maybe
even like the thing, like, I don't mind like downbeat endings to things. Like I mean, some of my favorite movies have quasi, bittersweet or downbeat endings anyway. Like Brazil, Day of the Dead's not particularly, happy. Stuff like that. Like, but if you're gonna do it, you have to do it right, so it feels like a nice, like you've wrapped up the story. It's a nice story. You put a little bow on it.
Yeah.
And even like the Coen brothers have, like, the way they write their movies, they have characters just dying off camera, but in their films it just fucking works because the movie's just fucking good anyway, and the scripts are good. And even their endings are somewhat open, but there's been enough happen for you to feel like it's been resolved. You're like, oh yeah, well, so that wouldn't end there, but the plot of the movie's over.
Yeah.
Whereas this is just like, oh, maybe you should think about this when you have children. Write them a book and tell them about how fucked up your family was.
Well, yeah, because all I can think of, like you guys, I sort of got roped in with the whole, there's this interesting curse that could be there. Now, I'm not 5 years old. I don't need, to be told, like, you know how we always joke about the rules. I don't need to be told the rules. I don't need to be told, like, the curse only passes on, on their 20th birthday, or, that kind of shit. But at the same time, you claw me in with a hook. I'm expecting, some kind of payoff, and so if there isn't one, I'm gonna start looking for it. So I was looking at the Walter thing, and I thought, oh, maybe Walter died because he left the house. So if you leave the house, you die. But then I thought some of the kids died on the property. Yeah, especially my favorite section, other than the canning factory, which was bath time.
Yeah,
bath time was
Jesus.
fun.
Which is gonna drown a child.
Yeah. I was kind of like, before. Oh, you're going there, okay? Because obviously, you know that you're playing the kind of like the quasi last moments of these people. So, I was like, oh, okay, cool. The baby's gonna die. Great.
Oh, great! I feel great.
But bath time was fun.
You're a soulless gamer.
I am. But Chris, you didn't get to play that section, but that section is kind of like fun because it is just a stupid physics thing, like
those
working
water
out how
games,
to bounce the frog up.
Water games back in like the 90s where you just press a button and it just like pushes a jet of water.
Yeah.
And you have like hoops that can go on pegs and stuff. Yeah, that shit's fun because you just keep mashing the water,
awesome.
And like the water current starts moving in like a cyclic like sort of fashion where it's just moving in a circle, and you're just never gonna get it right. But you're pushing the button and it's fun to push the button.
I've literally not thought about those things in like 20 years, but they're amazing.
Yeah,
I remember those.
And they cost less in this game. Just saying.
and more gameplay. But that's the problem. Is bath time is over way too soon, and then like
isn't that always the problem?
Yeah, I know.
Bath time's so fun, rubber ducky.
But then he's like, then like he's making a statement like about like our son. I think he saw things that weren't there, and then you're a frog and you're swimming down the plug hole, and it's like, you're trying to be some kind of like arty. Statement.
It's trying too hard.
And it just seems, what's the word, pretentious. It just feels pretentious.
It is. The whole game is incredibly pretentious.
Oh man,
sorry.
It's got this
sorry,
real.
Guys.
No, it's got this. Well, that's the problem. Is like when something gets like so highly regarded like this.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was always a dead set,
And that's the thing. Like again, I don't want to dislike. Cause people are like, oh, why are you like so hard and everything? Like, do you think that I pay money to go and see a movie and sit there going, I hope this is fucking terrible?
Yeah.
Do you think I wanted to go and see like Alien Covenant or Prometheus going, gee, I hope this sequel or a continuation from one of my favourite movies, because Alien and Aliens are two of my favourite movies ever made.
Yeah, they're really good movies.
Yeah, I really hope this is I really hope this is terrible. I want it to be good. That's why I'm so angry.
Yeah, that's why you paid for it.
That's why I get so annoyed.
That's why you invested in it. That's why you put your time and your money into watching the movie, not so that you can come out with like this angry, miserable feeling. You wanted to be like, oh, that was so good. Man, I'm so glad I did that.
Yeah, I love that feeling.
Yeah.
It's like when the first time I saw Mad Max Fury Road. I was so nervous just because I love the Road Warrior, and it'd been so long. But I was fucking blown away, and I was sat there like at the big finale, going, "This is just fun. This is really exciting. It's fun. I miss fun movies."
Yeah.
And again, like, so when something's highly regarded, I go, "Oh, this should be good," and then when I don't like it, I feel like bad almost. Like, I want to like it, but I can't force myself just because everyone else says I should.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it, especially with their photo on the credit screen. It's like they're almost like kind of guilting me. It's like, look at this cute thing we made.
Yeah.
Our hearts went into it, and I'm like,
someone died when we were making this.
Yeah,
or
but
it's like it's for someone. Like,
These are the Edith Finch
make a better
babies.
game.
These are the babies that were born during development. Like the 5 years of development we took for this game that you could easily develop on like a Android device in like 1 year at this point. You know.
I mean, you look at some of the games that are made in that timeline. Like, I mean, again, it's not a massive studio, but 5 years you could really just make just more. I don't understand how you can only get an hour and a half from like 5 years development.
Right. It's almost like they just said,
I just don't get it.
Like they gave you an undecorated, like manila envelope colored box with no wrapping and nothing inside it, and they hand it to you, and then you open it, and they're like, "Hope you enjoyed the journey of having a birthday present."
Yes, yes, that's it.
You know,
it's all this promise and a big disappointment.
yeah, but like Chris, with a box, you could like play in it or something.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. You could like just like put it on top of your head just to get away from everything. Like, well, I'm depressed, but cool. I can make. If I cut some little holes, and be like a little VR headset.
That's what I was gonna say next. Like put like a neck hole, and then like cut out the bottom part to put your cell phone in there, but just enough so that it hangs. Then you can like watch Mad Max Fury Road on your phone with your new VR headset. Thank you very much.
It's like, Chris, are you gonna fuck off and play with my box?
But man, you're right. You just destroyed my
yeah.
analogy because like that sounds like a fun time. But you can't have anything nearly that similar in What Remains of Edith Finch. You can't at all.
I mean,
like when I said that like Gone Home is better than this game, I also hate Gone Home. I hate it because I played it twice. I played it once to experience it. Played it twice to record it and upload it a long time ago. It was like one of my first LPs that I ever did. The fun that I had in that game, the one thing that I will always remember, is when I took the character, whose name I can't remember, into the kitchen, and like, of course the house is abandoned. I don't know if you guys have ever played the game, but it's like, it's not abandoned, they're just, no one's actually home. It's like if you came home in the middle of the night, and no one else was home. It's that feeling.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So I went to the kitchen, fully stocked, opened it up, and there's a physics engine in the game, so you can take things out of the fridge. I took everything out of the fridge, and I put it all in the dishwasher.
Say it again.
And I was like, I'm helping.
See, already, like, the fact that you can actually interact with everything, that's already so much more interesting. Like, there was like, they never once really like meant like, why are there so many books?
Yeah, all the same books. Like stacks
Metamorphosis.
and stacks of the same fucking books. Like the same 7 books. Like, these people deserve to die.
The one thing I can recall interacting with was the one achievement I think I got, which was, like, when they give you that crutch in the basement, I was like, oh, I can hit the snooker balls.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I want to get ready. Fucking ready. Because you'd be like, right, I need to swing to make sure I can, fucking clumping around the end. While the Halloween music plays because reference.
Right. And, like, the thing about that fucking scenario is that, like, they play it off like that shit really happened. And I don't think What Remains of Edith Finch's house has enough, like, floor space for all those monsters. Like if you were to take the square footage and what walkway space there actually is, you couldn't put half those monsters in the same living room area. And
no, because they'd just be falling over books.
Yeah. Maybe they are the books.
Oh,
maybe the
that's what
books
it is. My God.
or like the skulls
books did
in
it.
like a catacomb, like they're against the wall, but they come alive in the middle of the night and they become actual monsters. They're called, the book is Metamorphosis. Aha! I found it. I found the link. Now I understand what the curse is, and now the whole game makes so much sense, and I am way smarter than all of you.
I'm gonna
I
tweet
look
them and
forward
say
to your 4-hour YouTube video.
Twice as long.
Oh,
as
the
game
books!
itself.
Twice as long as the game itself, yep.
I might tweet them now. But oh, the books, they're monsters. In all caps.
Well, no, you'll just tweet at these guys going, I figured it out, And they'll be like sat there like, what? What did you figure out? There is nothing.
Yeah,
There's
we
nothing.
didn't put anything in there.
No, there is something. And then argue with them. No, there is.
Oh man, God, I hate this game so much. I hate the concept of this game. That's one of the reasons why I hated Gone Home. Not immediately. I mean, I did enjoy my time. Like I said, everything in the fridge, into the dishwasher. That makes me laugh today. So I mean, I have something good coming out of that game. But like
the fact you can actually interact with the world just automatically would make it more interesting. It makes it more enjoyable because you can just fuck around and do your own thing.
But with Gone Home, it's like
makes you feel alive.
This is the step towards art pretentious games. This is the step where we get to the point where we have games like What Remains of Edith Finch, where you don't do anything but experience and like these artists, they put it together in such a way where you can't do anything else because they're trying to force you to see what they're trying to express, and that's just not what you do with art. You know, like if you put up the Mona Lisa, everyone looks at the Mona Lisa and thinks, you know, wow, like she was pretty for her time, or wow, her eyes follow. That's interesting. Like you're looking at it technically, or you're looking at it artistically, or you're looking at it like, man, I'd bang her if I was like, or whatever. You know, like just however anyone's mind could actually look at like that painting, there's going to be dimensions there. There are no dimensions in What Remains of Edith Finch. There isn't a single dimension that remains with What Remains in Edith. I just wanted to use that sentence. I'm sorry. You know, like
I think
you press forward to the end. God, it makes me want to hit myself in the face.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like I haven't played Gone Home, but just from what you've been saying as well is that because you can interact with everything.
Yeah, everything.
It's a clever little game mechanic for them to put in because instantly it makes the world feel more real.
Yeah. Oh, also in Gone Home, one of the family members is an author, and that's why there's books everywhere, because he has copies of his unsold books in boxes and stacked up in places, and it's like, man, hey, an answer, you know, just one answer. You don't have any questions when you get done with Gone Home. At least you have that. There is like a subliminal like side plot that's sinister in a certain way, but like you don't even have to encounter it. And if you do encounter it, it's not like so bold that you were like, oh, I have to figure out what this is. You just happen to find like a secret door at some point in the house, and it can kind of allude to like an unhealthy relationship between one uncle and one son. But yeah,
again, that's better because it's something you can find yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like it's rewarding you for exploration. Like, oh, good, you actually hunted around to find things. Here's some like story. Here's some like stuff. There's some cool stuff to read.
I bought Gone Home because the premise was you have to walk through a house. Not have to, but like you come home and there's nobody there. It's like a 1990s house, and I'm like, hey, I was born in the 80s. I was born in '82, so I was raised more or less in the 90s, and like it didn't disappoint in that regard. Cordless phones. Right, not cell phones, cordless phones, Super Nintendo cartridges in one of the person's rooms, and you can actually pick it up and look at it, and it's like not Super Nintendo official, obviously, but it's the same shape cartridge. And it's like, man, like Nirvana posters, you know, like it was a fun little like walk. I mean, I hate Gone Home, but I hate What Remains of Edith Finch so much that I'm starting to like Gone Home.
You're going, actually, no, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I would play it again. I would play it again right now if it meant that I could like delete What Remains of Edith Finch from human consciousness. I would like say, I'll do that again, no problem. I'll have fun.
And I'm still
do more digital chores.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still in agreement with you that, if it was like a little animated short, it'd be so much better.
Yeah, it would just be much, much better. We wouldn't even have to have any answers. Just whatever. Yeah. Animated short, the whole damn thing. If that's what they could have done that in less than 5 years, too, because they wouldn't have to program any goddamn thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what remains of Edith Finch, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
fucking
so
worthless.
Pretty much the end is that, as we've said previously, it's being read to an unknown Finch kid who is Edith Jr.'s son.
And like,
I
put that together when I played the game too. Like, I was like, okay, we're opening this book. I noticed there's a cast on my arm. Okay, open this book, and then like when we start the game, I look down because I'm like, oh, I don't have a cast on my arm. That means I'm somebody else. That means that's gonna be an important plot point. Also, my belly's kind of big. You know, looking down at my character, it's like, why am I? I don't know I don't know if I'm Edith Finch or like anybody. I don't know who I am.
Barry Finch.
Yeah. Clytus Finch. I have no idea. So why is my belly big? and then it's like, being narrated by Edith Finch, because, What Remains of Edith Finch. But I mean, that could just be somebody reading the journal, It doesn't necessarily mean. So I was like putting it all together, and then like I go through the cat door, and she's like, "That was hard to do when I was 6 months pregnant." I was like, okay, I am Edith Finch. That means I'm probably gonna die at the end of this, and I just, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not playing this game anymore. Get my refund.
Well,
thank you.
How do you
Thank
guys
you very
feel
much,
about
Steam, by the way. Thank you very much, Steam, for letting me do that. I deeply appreciate the generosity. It's so good. Thank you. Okay.
the reimbursaries of Edith Finch?
Let me get my money back. High five over the internet. There.
Whoa, it connected.
Yeah. They hit me back. They're cool.
So we've talked quite a lot about the curse, but I was just going to ask you guys, now that we've covered pretty much everything. I mean, all that remains really was the section that we talked about in the Canning Factory, which, if you listen to this, you probably know about it, or at the very least you could YouTube that bit and enjoy that kind of interesting bit and not have to worry about the rest of the game. So do we think that there was a curse, or that there wasn't?
Probably not. I mean,
no.
I mean, this is the thing. Like, there's the bit right at the end where she's like, "Oh, that's the last time we saw my great grandmother. We don't know if she died the next day or if she just disappeared." Like, there's an easy way to tell. Phone up the retirement home.
Yeah. Call her.
I'm pretty sure they'll know.
She didn't just
Well, presumably she got lost in the fog and died when the tide came in or something.
Right.
I know, because that's what she writes in the journal, isn't it? Unless she just walked into the sea, which would be a really funny visual.
Yeah.
Go for a little walk.
It's so poetic when people say, they just walked to the sea. Like, there's like some songs that I've heard in the past, like pop songs or whatever. It's like, I think it's a Garth Brooks song. I'm not even sure anymore, though. But don't quote me on that. Where like, they just walk into the sea and die because they couldn't possibly live. It's like, you're gonna float.
Yeah.
You're just gonna walk into the sea, and the water's just gonna carry your ass right back to the beach. And you're gonna be like, well, that was dumb, unless I'm just really wrong about water physics. Maybe there's something I don't know, but I don't think you can just
even if
walk
you're
and die.
successful, it's going to take you a while.
Yeah.
You're going to get swept out. You've got to wait for some kind of like a
high
thing
wave
to come along and bury you.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
It's not as artful as saying walked into the ocean kind of sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like one foot in front of the other. Here we go.
Pressing W. Pressing W.
Like 18 hours
And
later,
yay.
you're just like, I can't keep doing this.
How did it end, Grandpa? How did it end? And then he pushed W.
The W is for water.
Like, what a story! That's like, I love stories where there's just no ending.
Yeah, where it's just a walking.
It's my favourite
simulator.
children's story.
As far as the curse goes, I mean, we are given physical, clear evidence that those monsters, or that there was a killer that broke the banister. Like I said, dude in the basement was afraid of something. But there's not enough. There's not enough there.
Well, we don't even have that kind of proof because, if everything in these stories is to be believed, then the little girl at the start, she turned into several different creatures.
Yeah.
So,
and then where did
I don't
the
know. It
monster
feels like
go after she ate herself? Did she consume herself? Did the monster eat Molly, and then Molly ate the monster? Or
oh my god, you know what? I fucking regret this. Okay, this game has no redeeming kind of like hidden meaning.
Can we say 0
Why am
out
I
of
even
10?
trying?
Is there a 0 out of 10 right here? Is that what this is?
Oh, it's gone from 6 to somewhere lower. I can tell you that much.
I would give
It's
it at
just
least
so
a 2.
infuriating.
I would give it at least a 2, just because, if nothing else, the texture art was okay. I mean, like, the game's construction physically, like its architecture, wasn't a bad thing. There were like sections where you go from like one room to the next room, but you're using like a secret cubby hole to like crawl through. That, I mean, if you're claustrophobic, and I'm a little, it made me feel a little claustrophobic to see that. I would think, okay, that enacted some feeling of terror in a way. Like, oh shit, what if like both ends of this close and I'm stuck down here to starve to death? Like those kinds of things happened in the game. There is a little bit of horror there, but it's so weak. The whole game is so weak. This is like, if college students of like a couple years ago when like the SJW movement was like hitting harder, and it's like this is a game made out of safe spaces, is what I'm trying to say. You know, like there's almost nothing here to actually scare you. Everything's just like kid gloves. It's just it's so weak. It's so weak.
Yeah,
because I mean, obviously they're not going to go into it in explicit detail when they're talking about a toddler drowning, but like and the way they do it, they definitely don't do that.
They don't have to do that.
That the horror is implied from that kind of like, you know, the ramifications of that, and we don't see any of that apart from the fact that obviously it's clear that they divorced because of that.
Yeah.
Or because he wrote the letter and it was his letter that was being kind of like the narration for that section. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just it feels like this could have been punchier. It could have had more of an effect if it had a bit more teeth or something about it.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's, you know how we've talked before specifically about Little Nightmares in terms of games that feel like mood boards. Like people have taken some artistic things that they like and put them together and come up with a kind of like a basic framework to connect them. But ultimately it's like there wasn't the story of Edith Finch. It feels like if there were some changes and some additions, it could be a story that was worth it, that was compelling to continue through. Instead, it doesn't feel like it's a story that needed to be told. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the feeling I get. It's like, here's some cool things we thought up, you know. Ooh, you know, the girl turns into a monster. Ooh, you know, the guy cuts fishes off, but he's like daydreaming an RPG that like gets progressively better like as it goes along. Oh, I've had this idea for a swing. You swing backwards and forwards. It's like these are cool little ideas and stuff, but the housing of these vignettes is just kind of like it doesn't feel compelling. I feel that they hook you in with the curse thing, but this game could have just as easily not had the curse even mentioned once.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It could be just some people in my family died. Here are their stories. But the curse thing, I think, was added to kind of give it this hook, and so it pulls you through, and then you're like, oh, now she's dead. Oh, now her son is reading the books. So it's like, what was the point of any of it?
I don't think that the curse was added as a means of a hook. I think the curse was added as a desperate way to explain this game, like to us in a synopsis form. So it's like, you know, you can see people like, so what's this game about before I write the synopsis? Oh, well, we have these little stories, and then like all the family die. Oh, so it's like a curse or something. It's like, yeah, sure, it's a curse.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly. It feels, well, that in itself is, you know, that becomes the hook. It's kind of like you read it and you go, oh, curse, interesting. Like it adds this kind of gravitas to it that it doesn't have, or it just kind of. What's the word? It kind of like fades away as you're playing the game. It's like this is clearly not going to be explained. So, what was the point? It got me in through the front door. You know, it made me buy tickets to the fucking hype train, and now I'm here, and nothing is happening.
Right. And there's nothing.
I'm pissed.
I want my money back.
Give me my money back.
Give me my money back.
I wonder if I can. No, I bought this a couple months ago on PlayStation 4. When the PS4 first came through the door, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get me some Edith Finch, and look how that turned out.
I'm gonna get you some.
Yeah, get you some. Come get some Edith Finch. Like,
come get
that would have been a great way to end it. Just give Edith Finch a lot of guns and a Duke Nukem voice and just start gunning things down. I'm gonna get that curse.
This house pisses me off.
My uncle lived in the basement for 10 years.
He ate peaches.
10 peaches piss me off.
I just want halfway through the game you're just playing and then suddenly like Duke's hands come up with pistol.
What an excellent mod! Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
Because if you can get it on PC, someone just mod the game to his become a Duke Nukem simulator halfway through. It's like, but like the narrations continue as normal. Oh man, you're just gunning down monsters. Whoa,
climbing ladder's a bitch when you're 6 months pregnant. Why am I climbing when I'm pregnant?
Fuck this game. Okay.
I think we just made the game better, guys.
Yeah.
We
in 2
tend
hours,
to do
we made
that.
the game better.
We tend to do that. Give it like one good idea that will like send it sailing into start.
Some kind of just strong idea.
Yeah.
Add Duke Nukem. There you go.
Done.
Fixed. Done.
Fix
Let's go to lunch.
I hate working at a tinning
Gearbox
factory.
on the phone.
Tinning factories piss me
I
off.
just want to say one quick thing about the tinning factory, though, because like that part, like I said before, was sort of interesting when I heard about it. But I was extremely disappointed to find out you didn't actually have to keep cutting the fish. You could just like use.
Yeah.
You could just play the game. The side
Well,
game.
it would just be sometimes a door would come along that had a fish on it, and that wouldn't open until you did the next fish.
Yeah.
But I
I
will
didn't know
say,
that.
and I'm not boasting my skills here.
Okay.
I didn't find it difficult at all to keep cutting the fish while playing the game,
Right.
Because the game is literally just holding a direction.
Mm-hmm.
So
also what
the
you
whole
had to
section
do.
itself, it seemed like when you hear about it, you like, oh, this is a good idea. Like, you know, it's tricky. You're trying to do this and do this at the same time. When you actually play it, it's not difficult at all to do it.
No.
So
Safe space.
it loses
you
its
can just-
it loses its effectiveness there as well. It's better as an
'cause-
idea, as a concept, than actual in its execution.
Right.
Well, it sums up the whole thing, really, doesn't it?
Execution of finches.
Yeah.
Or
Like his job could easily be replaced by a robot that just like moves things to the right. You know, like you don't even need a man to stand there at the conveyor to catch the fish and push it towards the chopper at all. It's ridiculous. The chopper. Yeah.
Get to the
Yeah. Start narrating it in Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice. It's hard to climb this ladder when I'm 6 months pregnant.
That would work.
That would work.
Why am I doing this? I'm pregnant with you, Johnny.
Johnny, my boy.
Why am I doing it? This is a strange sequel to that weird movie, Junior. It's a weird sequel. Why am I doing this again? Why am I pregnant? I don't have a womb.
It's not a tumor. Shit. Okay, so we're done.
It's not a tumor. It's a
yeah,
baby.
we've
Fuck.
hit peak Arnie. We're done. Yeah.
God, stop.
Oh, fuck no.
So yeah, in short, we didn't really like Edith Finch. I don't understand what the buzz was about because it feels a bit kind of forced in terms of buzz.
Yeah.
Especially when
So
I've
fake.
played other games that have moved me. I'm not like a Rock or The Rock. I don't just stand there and let everything kind of like wash off me. Things affect me.
Or raise your
but
eyebrow.
this just pissed me off.
It pisses me off.
I love, incidentally, Matt, your impression is really good and it's made me laugh a lot. I'm not criticizing it, but like literally everything is just blah.
Pisses me off.
Yeah,
It's just the word you say every time. It just makes me laugh. I love it.
I'm here. What was it? It was like, I'm here to kick ass and hug my family members, and I'm all out of family members.
Goddamn family members piss me off.
Right. So, okay. Hopefully, by the time you're listening to this, or at the very least, sometime in the future, we're going to get this mod done. Somehow, somewhere, it's going to happen.
We'll see what we can do. We'll
well-
Kickstarter.
Oh yeah,
Even
there
though
we
it's
go.
not
We'll
a very good
kickstart it.
game.
There we go. You got it.
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
Even though it's not a very good game, I want the ability to pick up his shit from Duke Nukem Forever and just put it into the game, so you can just walk around the rooms like wiping shit on the walls, going,
Why am I doing this?
Oh man, the thing is, like, I don't believe a Kickstarter like that would work. But there was the guy who had the Kickstarter for making potato salad, and he got like $50,000 for that. So
That's true.
yeah, like that's a real thing that really happened. So I really have no context for what would actually work or not work in Kickstarters anymore. I don't even know if that guy ever made the potato salad. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I'd be like, nope,
fuck it.
50 grand. I don't have to fulfill this promise at all. I'm just gonna keep this money and pay off my student loans.
We'll just work out how many people per head have donated, and like work out the cheapest place you can buy potato salad from.
Yeah.
And you like come out with a raging profit. You'll be fine.
Well, see, the thing is, some of those were like international donations, right? So like he would have to send potato salad across the ocean. Here it is, guys. I made it. It's good. You end up spending all your money on just like refrigeration and transportation, like utilities, to get things over to where it's supposed to go.
That's why you needed so much money for the Kickstarter.
Yeah, I mean, you would actually if you were going to hold your promise, but I'm not going to do that shit. I'm going to buy myself a little bit of potato salad, throw it away because I don't like potato salad, and then spend the rest of the money on whatever I want. I'm not saying potato salad's bad. I have never had a good experience with it.
Oh, we've gone from many different things, and it's finally ended to
Chris,
potato
you need
salad.
to save us. Not in the form of potato salad, but in the choice.
I was going to let you down there. I was going to let you down there. I don't know how to make potato salad either. I would just like make a salad and put potatoes on it.
Yeah.
This raw,
he hates
uncooked
potato
potatoes.
salad.
It's fucking raw.
Because I think it's because potato salad pisses him off.
I love it.
Oh, my throat.
We're running on so much gas now. Like it's like Duke Nukem impression, Gordon Ramsay impression, Honey impression.
That's what this game's done to me. I've got to find enjoyment out of it somehow.
Matt, you've got to do your Rocky impression as well.
Sylvester Stallone.
Who knows? That's fucking terrible. What am I doing?
Do you know what's
No, I can't do
especially
it.
funny
Fuck
for
it.
me?
I'm spent.
Do you know what's especially funny for me? Skype just balked, and literally you just went like this long repetitive noise.
Yeah, same here. It was like beep. You went straight silent. I was like, well, I guess you broke it.
You fish. That sounds more like fucking Peter Beardsley.
Yeah.
Peter Beardsley. Yeah, that's more like Peter Beardsley than Sylvester Stallone. Unless he is actually Peter Beardsley, but that'd be strange. And why am I fucking talking about Peter Beardsley?
Isn't that weird though? Like
Who's
you
Peter
can
Beardsley?
do an impersonation easy when you're inspired, but when asked to, it's like impossible to find how to do that again.
Yeah.
Like your throat's like, nope, we're hiding this one now. You can't do it.
Yeah, because your brain's just like,
Yeah, your brain and your throat are in cahoots against you. It's like, no, don't tell him where it is, man. It's like playing like monkey in the middle.
Yeah, and it's just like, fuck it, you're on your own.
I'm gonna play my video games.
I'm thinking about an RPG.
Yeah. Okay, so I've been like
Save us.
thinking over the last few weeks what to choose for this podcast, and there's only one inescapable thing that keeps surfacing in my mind. And I think it'd be better actually if I chose two movies, but I think you'll let it go because they're the same movie. Okay. The first like horror movie that I've ever really seen, like as an adult, that scared the shit out of me, and maybe it won't anymore, but maybe it will, was the American version of The Grudge.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I can do
And
that.
I would like to also watch the Japanese version of The Grudge, if that's also a thing. I don't really know.
It would be fun to compare them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, the American version of The Grudge was like fucking chilling to me.
It's pretty
I
good.
didn't sleep.
It's pretty good,
I didn't
actually.
sleep with the lights off for like 4 days.
Yeah, and there's one scene in particular, I think, that always gets everyone.
Yeah, so that I think, like, after Edith Finch, I think I need to turn the Titanic back like hard end towards the horror side of things, and I think that's why I'm going to choose both the American and Japanese versions of The Grudge.
No, I can do it.
Yeah.
I think I've got the Japanese version somewhere.
Somewhere, cool. It's probably hiding somewhere in the shadow.
Oh, what was that? Fuck.
Then Matt's just quiet. Oh, it's just Skype fucking with us again.
Oh, Scott.
So
That's the one with Sarah Michelle Gellar in it, right?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
the American one's pretty good,
I
actually.
vaguely remember the American one.
Because I think I'm sure it's that one that was actually, it was either directed by or had, the original director did something with it.
Oh, yeah, one of those.
might have
I
even been-
think that happened with The Ring as well. I think The Ring 2 was made by the same, the Japanese director, I think.
Yeah, here we go, yeah. Takashi Shimizu.
There you go.
Yeah, he directed the American, the English speaking version as well,
Yeah.
Which is, it's perfectly fine. I mean, there's one person you want to do it, get the original guy, because if I remember correctly, I think it's still set in Japan, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. An American couple buys a house in Japan, which is not an unusual thing, and they end up buying a haunted house. So there you go.
And Bill Pullman's in it, so what's not to like?
Right.
Always good for Bill. It's always nice to have some Bill Pullman in the movie.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like Bill Pullman.
If I recall correctly, his part in the movie drops suddenly. That was a weak pun, but whatever. I went for it.
Oh,
yeah.
I get it, so it's fine. Tom's just very confused. Like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Hey, that's exactly what the Grudge monster does. It pulls man. All right, I'm sorry. I'll stop. Like Matt's got the impersonations, and I got the bad puns. That's my thing. I have the bad puns.
And what's your specialty, Tom?
I have the shit choices.
You keep everything, and you keep everything together and working.
Yeah. He's the host.
I am glue.
He is the host. Yeah.
You are glue.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah.
The host with the most.
The Grudge. The Grudges.
Okay.
The Grudge.
The Grudge times 2.
Le Grudge.
Yeah.
That's
Grudge.
Don't watch Le Grudge. Das Grudge. So that's just reminded me of one of my favorite German titles for a horror movie, which is The Thing, which is Das Ding. Das Ding.
Yeah, that's Thing. So
it's like literal translation. Right. Das Ding.
Das Ding.
It's just fun to say. Das Ding.
Oh,
Das Ding what? I'm dead. Got eaten by the Thing.
Dustin Hoffman.
Das Blob.
Yep.
Dustin Hoffman in Dustin.
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin starring Dustin Hoffman.
He was so good in
boy.
Hook.
Das Blob.
We are memed out.
Yeah, we are memed out.
Okay, well, suffice to say, there's some things that we do sometimes on YouTube. I guess there are links below. Remember, I am the glue that keeps this show together. And until next week, enjoy multiple grudges.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time to talk about them. So,
bye.
Until next time.
You take your own interpretation.
Yeah, no, I was actually just struggling to think of a word. Just so happens that it's also an impression.
Yeah. Oh. You're like,
They're like, oh shit, it's frozen.
Yeah, Skype's fucking with us again.
This episode of Spoilers of the Damned was hosted by Axton10_61, Madcus Finch, and Garlips. To find out about us, as well as join the discussion on our Discord, check out all the links in the description below. Please feel free to leave a review or rate us on your podcast app of choice.